Right, Shalom.
Shalom.
When the start of souls by giving no praise to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Hashem,
Yahweh
Shai,
Hashem,
Hashem, Kadash. Right, double honor to the apostle of Great Millstone. Honor to you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Right, where the Hebrew Israelites come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, right, and to prophesy the coming of a new righteous kingdom. But we could start into that to complete dispute 13, them kind of precepts, and see where the spirit leads, right? Because this is it, did a video with the brother yesterday, man, and he was telling me a story right beforehand, and man, you just be hearing some of the stuff that happens in this world, right? It straight up makes you sad, man.
Yeah.
Right, some of the things, some of the wickedness, some of the evil that is allowed to continue and to proliferate in this place is just downright evil, man. Okay, so we're basically looking forward to a righteous kingdom, right? Which if you grab that, any precepts that come to mind, and said we'll see where the spirit leads. Okay,
2 Peter 3 in verse 13. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Right, and that so it talks about a promise, right? So this has been promised. If you get Isaiah 55 and 11, Baba Kashar, right? This has been promised, right, from the foundation. We want to get from the foundation of the earth, even, right? That the children of Israel, right, would go through the story that we've lived through, right, and then would eventually end up in a position of what kings and priests. In fact, we can hold that one as well. Right, but if you read that again, and if you read Isaiah 55, and then we'll jump over to Nation of Kings and Priests.
Verse 14, it says, wherefore, Exodus 19:6, there's one in Revelation as well.
Yeah, I was going to get the one in Revelation.
Back in 2 Peter 3, verse 14, wherefore,
start from 13 again,
verse 13, nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Right, and if you can grab Isaiah, Book of Kashar, 55:11.
It's the book of Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Right, so this is it. He in his a perverseness thinks that he can upset this, right? The Most High says if he says something, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, right? So that's why we don't fear Esau, right? We understand that the Lord has it written that he's gonna go down, right? That wickedness isn't gonna continue forever, man. Like, so I won't tell the story, but so you be hearing some of the stuff that people have actually experienced in this world, and you're just like, man, this place has got to go, right?
Yeah,
man, this place has got to go, man. And that's just one thing. You might have a what you call it, children sending them to school, and they're being taught by just straight up degenerates, man. Right? You'll be seeing. I remember certain times you'll be on the apps and you'll be seeing the chick. You can tell she's a straight up hoe, right? You're just thinking, that's someone that you would use, and then that's it. But then you see occupation teacher, right? And this is the world that we live in, man. We live in a world just full of straight up wickedness, straight up nastiness, man. Okay, bring it up.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 6. For wickedness as
let's think, bro. I was thinking about this. In fact, hold that. Have you got any precepts?
I've got the kings and priests one.
Okay, let's grab that and then let's start from the top.
This is Revelations 1. I'll start from verse 5. And it says, and from Yahushua Mashiach, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood. He hath made us kings and priests unto the Most High, Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
That's it, right? So when you understand the story, right, and when you really understand what it was, right, we was always supposed, as a nation, we were always supposed to have this arc where we fall out of favor, right? You can read that in Hosea, the 1st chapter, right? The Lord said, like, lower me up, because I will not be your power. But then you jump over to Romans, the 9th chapter. It speaks about how through Yahweh Shai we have obtained adoption, right, back unto the Lord, right? And it's through Yahweh Shai that we've been able to obtain, we will obtain that a thing of being kings and priests, right? Right? You know, right now we're just in the process of it, right? But we're coming into a time, right, in the kingdom where we will actually be that. Okay. So that's that one.
Yeah,
That was it on that. Yeah. So if you can grab what do you call it?
It's the book of Second Ezra 15, himself from the top. It say, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord.
So that's it, right? What we're speaking aren't our words, right? And people have this issue when they'll hear they'll walk past the camp, right? You know, they'll scoff in their heart, right? But these times, what does the scripture say? Every idle word that a man speak, you know, shall give account of. Okay. So basically, you know, people be walking past thinking that we're just speaking of our own. We're not speaking of our own, right? Certain times we'll come up to the camp. I mean, how many times watching Apostle Tars like, yeah, man, I've got this list. He'll read like half of one precept, and the Spirit does everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, we're not speaking. It's Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that's speaking through us. Right? Carry on. Obviously, well, you've got something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of prophecy is us as a nation to be raised from this poor condition to a greater nation, a nation of kings and priests, ruling the earth,
That's it. They're righteous rulership, right? Because right now, man, you got what it speaks about in Sirach, the 10th chapter, right? The fact that you have in the how the ruler is, right? So is the people in that nation, right? And the ruler of this world is a straight up demon, man, right? Which is why you see the wickedness that we see in this place, right? Which is why you see just how bugged out individuals are around here, man, right? But in the kingdom, right, we gonna be righteous. So guess what? We gonna rule the world in righteousness. Precept on that.
Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Nah, for stop you there, man. Are people rejoicing right now? Right, far from. Throughout the world, right, no matter where it is. For instance, the Spirit had that, that driver, right? He just said it out straight.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to leave this place.
Yeah.
Right. You know, everyone, no matter where it is that you be speaking to people from one part of the world, from another part of the world, everyone's in is in pain. Everyone's just like, yo, man, this place is gonna go. In the spirit, they're saying this place is gonna go. It's gonna go, right? Which is that's the truth. You know, you have people that be working hard, and Jacob. This is the thing. Jacob been doing this, right? Working 3 jobs, right? But yet still fruit. Right now, that's starting to happen on a mass scale globally. Right, more and more people, and it's starting to affect these Edomites now. And all of a sudden, now they've got a problem with how the government's run, because now it's affecting them. Right, but for the longest time, Jacob's just been taking it on the chin, right, as they say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it says, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Yeah, and that's what, once again, that's what everyone's doing. Everyone is in mourning, man. Right, but we're coming into a kingdom, once again, the kingdom to come, right, wherein Esau is pulled out of rulership and the children of Israel are put up in their rightful place, right? The world is going to be full of righteousness, man, which is what we're looking forward to. Okay? That's it.
Yeah, especially even in America, there's a lot of a great number of homeless. People living on the street, man.
Streets or in their cars.
Yeah, on their cars. They don't have. What they call traditional houses to go to.
Yeah.
So things are going. Going off right now.
That's it.
Yeah, like them Jake women that got out of the job, 300,000.
300,000, yeah. Oh man, when you see the jobs numbers, because that's the thing, they'll give them out, and that's the thing he will do. He'll have a news story, right, and then he'll be like, look at this, and then everyone will look at it, and then if new information comes out about that news story, they hardly ever, unless it's useful for the narrative, they won't ever go back. So when they've come out before and done, the jobs, you've added this many jobs. But when you look at the revised numbers now, because they always revise them, right, there was basically no jobs added. Last month in America, they only added 22,000 jobs or something crazy like that. Okay? So that's why, once again, you're seeing people that are, what would you call it? What is it? I think the term is the working poor or the working homeless, I think, right? Where you get people that they got jobs, but they're homeless. They got jobs, but they're living in their cars, right? That's basically what has happened under this man's rulership, man. Right? And the Lord is coming back to correct that, right? Because ultimately it all goes back to the ruler and the Edomite, which is going to be taken out of power.
That's right.
Right? Carry on.
I'm quicker from the book of Hebrew. Quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the book of Hebrew 1 and 8. But unto the Son he says, Thy throne, O power, is forever
Mm-hmm.
and ever. A scepter of righteousness is a scepter of thy kingdom. And that's the Lord, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, when he come to rule, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of his rulership is going to be all righteousness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all this behavior that we see have been done on this side of the world, it's not going to be in the kingdom of heaven. You know, all this LGBTQ mischief is not going to be there. You know? And all manner of wickedness, man. You know?
That's it. You know, there's alphabet mischief, because that's exactly what it is, man. Right? The Most High has a law, statutes, and commandments, right? Wherein if they were followed, this world would be good.
Yeah.
But they're not followed, right? Which is why the earth is in decay, right? In fact, real quick, just Isaiah 24 and 5, just because I made that point.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things it touches on, right? The fact that the covenant hasn't been followed, man. Right?
This is Isaiah 25.
24 and 5.
It's like that. Isaiah 24. I'll start from 4.
Mm-hmm.
It says, The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
That's it.
Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate.
Right. So that's it, man. Right. The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, man. Right. There are certain ways that this world is supposed to be run. Right. The scriptures tell you the ways this world should be run. Right. But this devil, right, because he's the wicked, right, has basically gone above and beyond to perpetuate wickedness, man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's got more. We can go back to second Ezra, yeah.
Second Ezra 15 and 2. And call them to be written in a paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Go read that again, Kusha.
Second Ezra 15 and 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee.
Right, incredulity, that goes into disbelief, right? So let not the disbelief of them trouble thee, right? Basically going into the fact that, you know, these people, they're not going to believe. Scripture says, so what? For what if some did not believe? Should that make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid, right? So the majority of these people, they ain't going to get it, right? They ain't meant to get it. That's not their lot, right? And what does the scripture say in the 8th chapter and the 9th chapter as well, right? That the same shall know after death by pain, man, right? Okay, carry on. Oh, yeah, so it says, look, not the disbelief of them trouble thee. So that's why we see certain people, they don't believe, right? And, you know, first, when the Lord brings you into this thing, you hear the apostle speak about that. You know, you go and get some people who don't believe, and it's going to be like, it is what it is. And at first, you're like, you telling your cousin, you're like, look, man, you be in your mind like, why can't you get it? But after a period of time, he's still like, yeah, he can't get it because he can't get it. It ain't for him to get it, right?
You get guys that have been broken down by scoffers.
Oh yeah. The guy that used to be in the camp.
Even Mike the Hamite,
Right.
he was broken down by scoffers on the comment board. You know, you get them persistent scoffers.
Yeah.
You know, them little demons.
Yeah.
They come and repeat the same jargon. And for some people, they get broken down by it because they think they only can believe in something if they believe that the majority is with it. If the majority is against them, you know, they flake out. Mike the Hamite, man, he started following scoffers and joining on to them.
Yeah, you had the individual, right? That was what was he, from Albania? There was an account for a little while, but then, you know, he wasn't grounded, right? He kept getting hurt. He kept hitting his cousin, his brother, or something. Would keep asking him questions, right? But because he wasn't grounded, right? He was good. Scriptures also speak about basically seeking things that are too hard for thee. And that's one of the things. Like his brother would ask him deep questions, and instead of just being like, I don't really know, whatever, let me ask, because that's what scriptures supposed to speak about. The scriptures talk about. If you don't know, hey, look, yeah, so I don't know, but we got teachers, right? So let me ask my teachers, right? And they'll be able to help me, expound on that, right? But he was trying to get too deep before he had what was First Corinthians, was it 3:11? Fed you with milk and not with meat. I'll look for that.
The precept.
Yeah, sometimes you can lose a debate simply because you're unlearned, not because not because
The other person's right.
not because the other person's right. I mean, you've had that, like especially like for instance, these Muslims, they got a playbook that they come with, and if you're unlearned, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're very one-dimensional about your understanding, whereas the more you study, you now see things from multiple dimensions. So it's like, all right, bro, listen, I know what you're doing. Let me hit this scripture, boom, and that's it. I already know the answer to it. But if a lot of you out there, you watch the videos for entertainment, and so you consume the truth on a very simplistic and base level. Then when you try and jump up pretending you're a prophet now, you get caught out there by them demons because they ask you something you don't know, or they'll come to you with a scripture that you've never really addressed properly, and now all of a sudden they see it in your eyes when it's like, and then they catch you.
And then to build on that, then because of one's pride, they won't do that thing of like, oh, actually, I don't know, I might have to come back. They just wing it. They dig themselves a hole, and then like, but you just said, ego, Kurt. Or like the video, a couple of on that channel Jubilee of that Eve when they were discussing about reparations and all of that sort of stuff. The Eve, she was just a better debater than the people that they're both wrong ultimately, but she was a better debater. I would even say because she was just over talking people. But like when you're experiencing the debate thing, right, you know how to kind of like navigate to win. But if you're trying basically battle, that's basically what it is. As I forgot the eldest apostle said it. That's basically like battle rap today, right? You know that whole debate and
you can win it. You can win a debate and be wrong simply because the other person either wasn't the other person isn't wise enough or didn't it's like in the courtroom it's the exact same thing. I mean, I've been watching the Suits lately, and it's the same thing. You can lose a court case not because you was wrong, it's just simply because you didn't know a particular angle that you could come at it from within the bylaws or the laws or whatever the case may be. So that's why the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, a workman not ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Because you can get an atheist come and stump up a dude because they don't understand the scriptures properly, man. You know? Yeah.
You need First Corinthians 3:2.
Oh yeah, 3:2, yeah.
Oh, and another thing, that debate you were talking about. Yeah, that right-left thing, you can't win a debate on that. Because ultimately, sometimes two things can be right at the same time. And the problem with the left and the right is, usually the actual correct position is in the middle. With like I did a video on it. When you look at the right and the left thing, pretty much the right push Negro accountability.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not racism's fault, it's blah, 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 blah. There is no systemic racism. You're free. It's your own bad choices that are leading you to your situation. The left pushes the complete opposite. That, it's not your fault why you're in the situation you're in. It's all systemic racism's fault. When the truth is right bang in the middle. Because what do we teach? Yeah, we teach what the scriptures say concerning Esau, right? Woe unto him that giveth unto his neighbor strong drink. And we condemn Esau for what he's done to our people. But what does the scripture turn around and say in Isaiah 58? Exactly. Cry aloud and spare not, and show my people their transgressions. So at the end of the day, there are points that the left make that are correct, and there are points that the right make that are correct. Two things can be right at the same time. You can have systemic racism where these men are pumping crack into your neighborhoods and working against you, but at the same time, you can have that you should have your own accountability for stop selling crack.
That's it, yeah.
Choose to do the right thing and not be seduced by the way of evil. Those are the two things. But if you get caught on either side of those things, then you end up in this endless argument and you're never truly edified. That's why you can't be on the right. What did the Bible say? Right? Turn not to the left or the right, man. You got to go straight down the middle sometimes. So that debate was stupid, man. You know, that's why we don't represent the right or the left. But I can hear when a right dude can say something like Candace Owens. A lot of things she used to say, I like, yeah, she's right. But people on the left won't listen to it because she's a right winger. When yeah, she is right. Man, do need to take responsibility and stop acting like pieces of shit sometimes. Sometimes Jake is being an asshole, but then a lot of times you got to look at Esau too. It's both. Two things can be right at the same time, and most people they can't get that. And Esau uses that to manipulate people. They put you on either side of an argument that both can have their merits.
Quick one here. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 19. It says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, but I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
Right, so we had a choice, and we broke the law, statute, commandments, and that's led to where we are today. So as a people, we have a responsibility and accountability for our own actions that led to where we are. What does that let Esau off the hook? No, it don't. Two things can be right at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Two things can be right at the same time. It's a fact. Yeah, that's the reason why Esau came and was able to do this evil unto us. But it doesn't justify Esau. Esau's not justified. And that's why we don't use Esau as an excuse. The only excuse that Jake has is Yahweh Shai. When you look up the meaning of the word excuse, that's what it means. Oh yeah, you know, well, it's all the white man's fault. So we all no. You have to repent. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fix yourself too. You can't just blame everything on Esau and think you're gonna get on a chariot.
Not straight, simple as that.
It's not as simple as that. Like there's no excuse other than Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the excuse. So you have to repent and turn to him. You can't just point the finger. But that don't mean there ain't a finger to be pointed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Two things could be right at the same time sometimes. And that's called wisdom and understanding. But this world, on the internet, it's just people arguing past each other.
There's accountability to be taken on every side.
Yeah. You know? But everyone loves to speak about accountability until it comes to themselves. Because really, people like to blame someone else, innit? Completely. And sometimes you got to take your own responsibility. Oh, he made me do it. Yeah, he might have manipulated you into that situation, but you did it too. So you got to have accountability for that.
Precept. What's that precept? It's I forget what I'll have to. It's something like when you're around like mighty men and stuff like that. I'll look for it. See if it's on point.
I've got precept on accountability. This is Hosea 5 and 14, the points in 15. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. Even I will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue it. This is the point here. Verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Right. So we do teach our people that forget about Esau, Edom. Beginning with us, we were the architects of our own downfall. Because if we had kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and being obedient unto the Heavenly Father, this enemy that is over us wouldn't be over us. Esau would not have been able to do the things he's done unto us if we hadn't been disobedient unto the Lord. Esau is a part of the curse. So we do have to take accountability to our actions and the things that we do. And that's why we preach that. We're not just going to come out here and tell you, oh, the white man's a devil and keep doing what you're doing. None of it's your fault. No, we come out and say, but Jake here, you have a responsibility. Now you know better to do better.
It's like saying you brought it on yourself. That's exactly what's happened. We brought it on ourselves to transgressing, right? The result of that transgression is Esau. But Esau's doing the part of the wicked, right? So he's got to be judged for the things he's doing also. You know?
100%. And he will. 100% will. Oh, man, you know, ain't no racism. Yes, there is. Anyone that argues that's retarded. Like, there absolutely is a system that is set up to work against us because Esau never stopped being our enemy.
So he fully took advantage of the situation.
The enemy's always going to be working against you. That's the very definition. Like, there wasn't no day where Esau worked up and said, I ain't the enemy. No, he is the enemy. So he absolutely has undermined our people and set up agents that are from among our people, the black people that work for him to undermine us. That's true. But them dudes that work for him and doing these things, they have accountability too.
Can I read this? It's Obadiah 1 verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them.
That's our so-called brother Esau. He's always been against us, and he worked with the heathen to be against us, even though we were supposed to be brother nations.
Yeah.
Esau is our enemy, man, and he gonna pay for it. So that's why our message, man, we have a message to our people, but we also have a message to the nations. We got a message to Esau. Now the message to our people is ultimately repentance, and if you don't repent, you're gonna be destroyed. But the message to Esau is simply that of condemnation. Because we ain't asking Esau to repent. You ain't gonna see no video where we're like, yo, Esau, man, you gotta change your ways. You gotta no, because it's not that. When you're in the court, there ain't a time to change your ways. It's time to receive your judgment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Which we understand Esau wasn't meant to change his ways anyway. He was set up, and a lot of people can't get that because Esau's lied to them and created a fairy tale around the world where everyone can be anything. No, that's not really true. This is the most highest movie, and there's characters in the movie, and the characters gonna do what the character's supposed to do. And Esau Edom plays the character of the devil, and he does it very well. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he could never be the righteous. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't do it because it's not in his nature. He hasn't been that gene or that vibration hasn't been switched on in him.
You can't do good.
He can't do it.
Settings.
Just a quick one.
Yeah, devil
Crank it all the way up.
cranked it to Satan, bro.
Hebrews 12 verse 17. But you know that, well, let me read up verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
And that's how you know why. How you know this? Because Esau's given unto depravity and deviancy. They're given unto it. Even if you see these Edomites in the highest level of society with the cleanest clothes. Hey, my grandmother used to say, right? Old West Indian proverb: you could put a pig in a palace and it still remain a pig. These Edomites that you see, that's all so-called prim and proper, behind closed doors are some of the most deviant dudes. They have deviant sexual tendencies. Who you think is buying? I was watching Instagram the other day, and a girl was like, "Yo, I gotta pay for my holiday." And in the video, she was stepping on 2 pieces of toast, yeah, and then putting them in a zip seal bag and putting the name on it and packaging it off. Who do you really think is paying for a piece of toast, a piece of bread that some woman with a dusty, dark feet, yeah, have stepped on? That's these deviant Edomites.
Well, it's like you say, it's like money's a magnifier, right? And these Edomites, when they get more money, they just now are able to fulfill all of their lusts.
Yes.
And that's not to say you don't get Jakes that have deviant nature, but that's against their nature. That's something that they've been seduced into the wrong way. Whereas Esau, that is your nature. Within you, your natural setting is deviancy. And you see all the time, you Edomites have always been into weird shit, yeah? That we'd be like, yo, what's man? Why is this white woman licking the dog?
And that's why you do it in secret. You do it behind closed doors. You don't want to see you don't want the world to see you for what you really are. And that's why you wear the suits out in the open. That's why you talk the way you talk.
That's why you let your dog lick you in the mouth, man.
Yeah, man.
You see that video?
Yeah.
You see that video, man? I saw that shit like, God, and then she swallowed after. I was like, God,
That's
damn.
shit.
You don't even want a random human's fucking tongue in your mouth, let alone a dog, man. And she was like, I was like, yeah, that's their spirit, though.
That's why your lead stream is to rule out in the open, right? But you have to have everybody under complete control before, because hey, you ain't gonna have no one down up on you for, kissing dogs and shit.
They're freaky,
You know what I mean?
man. And any deviancy you could think of in this earth, Esau's into. That's why when you see Esau's the one that you like to point the finger, right? Oh, look at them heathens and what they're doing. Anything you could point to any heathen on the earth, Esau does.
He's the worst of the heathen.
Esau is the one that's perfected the art of cutting your damn tongue, turning your tongue into fucking thing. That whole body modification thing, that wasn't no Samoans. The Samoans just tattooed their damn face. Esau tattooed the eye.
Cut off ears.
Cut off ears. Turn man. There's one guy that wants to be an alien, blood.
Scale on his face, and he chopped off the points of his ears.
These men are demonic. You invented mastered the art of removing a man's ball sack and trying to replace it with a vagina. That is beyond deviancy. Man.
But when you look into that stuff, man, yo, it gets wicked, man. I remember looking into it years ago, man. It's because like as a man,
What do I look into?
biology of this. I forget what I was mentioning. But you know how like as a man you see a woman, right? You know, they get what they call pre-cum, right? What he has done is he basically he cut that and then he used that same pre-cum thing mechanism to basically make it as if it's wet. That fake thing that he's just and it's just like, why would you?
And it smells like shit.
Yeah,
I remember you saying.
This is the fact. No, it's a fact that the fake vagina actually smells like feces because feces bacteria goes into it, and it's because it's not natural, bro. It doesn't. It's not self-cleaning. Vaginas are self-cleaning. This thing is just a hole. It's a wound. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway.
Yeah, because the female one is. But really, I say when you look into the biology, man, the most I made it in its perspective. The real one is slightly acidic, right? So that it basically makes it like helps the cleaning process. But then obviously, like our technology, right? When it's going up in there, it's slightly alkaline to help the sperm do its traveling and stuff in an acidic environment. Perfection. But Esau's bastardized all of that.
And on top of that, you can this is all on the back of the mutilation of black women, by the way. Because that's how we were doing all the discoveries, during the slavery, cutting up,
more
so-called black women
deviant
and shit.
behavior.
Yeah, just doing madness, man.
You got the body piercing thing. Esau took that to a crazy level. Esau's a deviant. That's all the point is, man. He's different. He is different. He has got a different where demonic spirit. We know it, man. Listen, we grew up around these man. These men will, for a prank, put a next man's toothbrush in their mouth. Or man sleeping. I don't know if you heard about that one. Simon and man did. Man was sleeping and they put man's penis in man's mouth while he was sleeping.
I've heard about shit like that. Wet willy pranks, man. Where did wet willy pranks come from? Man?
Yeah, or trying to touch your balls. Yeah. They try and touch your balls.
Even in video games, man, a teabagging man on the game, bro. They can't help themselves, bro.
Pull people's pants down.
It's mad. I don't know what freak show, but there's a thing called a soggy biscuit.
But all these things, these Edomites, that's joke. And you see it, you're like, bro, that's not. If that happened amongst the man, someone's getting killed. That's like, you did what?
While I was sleeping.
Yeah, like,
bro,
what?
Israel would go to war.
Bro, it'll be a mad thing. Like, man never used to run joke like that. But these man, that's their normal way. I seen these man do things like, I remember when I was in uni one time, we'd come back from football, so we're chilling in the pub, and a bunch of them white boys came back from the rugby or whatever. And then I see them thinking, what's going on over there? And I see man grabbing, you get the dregs of the beer, and I see them pouring it into something. I'm thinking, what are these men on? What they've done is they've poured every man's last little bit of beer into the damn jock strap. The cup, the nut cup.
Yeah.
The little sweaty nut cup that man's nuts have been in, yeah? And then there's and then man had to drink out of the nut cup.
These weird rituals you man have got.
That's
Rituals.
a deviant spirit. I'm going home. Like,
That's
That's the American Pie jackass.
Yeah, it's that weird.
Yeah,
that's that deviant. And them man ain't in no fraternity. They're just doing that. Like, they think it's funny. And then, but these are the same man who point the finger and say, look at them heathens over there. These third worlders. What? What the fuck out of here?
Can I just finish up before I get that? This is verse 70. For you know that after, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. And these are the reasons why he's rejected. He's just fucking weird. He don't belong on the planet. The most I don't wander around.
And the blessing, the blessing is everything, man. When you understand what the blessing of, hold that. Let's get Genesis, the 27th chapter. The blessing that Jacob received, which was really a continuation from Isaac and going back to Abraham, is everything. That's not no normal blessing. It's not like, oh, I bless you. All right, cool.
It's the super
Man
blessing.
sneezes and you go bless you. Like, you know what I mean?
It's the ultimate blessing.
Nah, it's eternal life. It's kingship. It's like everything you do just being blessed. It's you always being at the head of everything.
Always being in the right spirit.
Like sandbox mode, blood. You know what I'm saying, blood? That blessing is everything. That's the lottery of all lotteries to hit. And he gave that up. Like, And that blessing would have been it's like a it's a promise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like when the Lord's promising you that thing, you ain't just gonna die.
And it's powerful because when you read that chapter of Deuteronomy 28, from verse 2 to 14, is just a blessing. It's short and sweet, but
Yeah.
it's
But
powerful.
powerful.
It's powerful.
Powerful.
It's
That's
powerful.
right.
When it came to the curse,
Yo, you'd rather die than give something like that up.
For real.
But Esau's a vessel of no faith.
Yeah, no
He was
faith.
made with no
Bro,
faith at
if
all.
it was some gold, he wouldn't have let that go.
No, he can't.
He wouldn't have let it because he can't. If it was
Can't.
gold, he'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold out.
Because this is why we get these examples of Abraham and him willing to sacrifice Isaac, right? Because he was promised something, but how would it be fulfilled if his son died? But he believed anyway. Like the Most High was gonna make this work anyway somehow, you know. So he was gonna go through with it. Esau, on the other hand, he don't believe all these things. That's spooky to him. Like, well, when is that? When is
Now
when
he
is
wants
the
it
hour?
back through technology.
Yeah.
He's a demon.
Trying to win it back, but you're not gonna win it.
And it's all weird.
Yeah.
Listen. Genesis 27:28. Wherefore the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth.
That's it. The fatness of the earth represent you get the premium. And that's in the kingdom. That's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the premium. Even now in this world, Esau gets the premium.
Yeah.
But when Esau, them top level Edomites, when they get strawberries, they're not getting the thing like you're getting from the market, right? You know them ones, because when you go to the market, a lot of times, what they've done, this brother knows, there's a pallet you could buy at the wholesaler, but the grade of the fruit is like
very different.
D grade. That's why it goes off in about 2 days.
Yeah.
It's low level fruit. When them man are going Waitrose and they were getting the A classes, they pick that stuff especially, or it's a specific breed. Or
Best believe,
It's my job as well.
because best believe they get first. They get first picks. Best believe that. Yeah, wherever these men producing, they get first picks. That's why they got the best grapes or the best wine. All these different types of things, they're getting the best. You are getting what's left over. And when you're really broke, you're getting, Hardy's wine in the show, which is just the dregs basically of what they're doing.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that market, just markets in general. There is a market where we, sometimes I get the veggies or whatever, right? And it's funny, the small hats and stuff, they always go to certain vendors. And anytime you go and find out the price, it's always like double the price. Of
Yeah, for
Yeah.
you.
Double the price.
That's what I mean. Even though you want to eat healthy, eat organic. It's expensive, more expensive. Even though we know it's not completely organic, but it's more expensive because it's not really for the masses of people to really consume.
But it's the premium thing. The premium is for and it's always gonna be like that. The premium thing is for premium people. Yeah,
And right now they got the fact.
So we're gonna get the premium of everything. The choice is like when man gets something, if you get the rug, it's not the Temu mug. We're gonna get the best artisan or whoever it is that will make it the best bread.
Yeah, because you think about it now, Jake, obviously, it is good food, right? Even though the food's fucked up, but Jake get like a short rib and spice it up. That's sensational. Or just lamb ribs, all right? But really, like the best part of it is like the shoulder, you know what I mean? The leg,
But it matters the
better part.
how the animals being taken care of.
Yeah,
and that kind of
right,
stuff, how it's being
animals being
fed.
taken care
And
of.
that's what we don't
The
see. We don't
quality
see
of the
all of that.
seasoning.
We just see the parts in the shop. We don't
The
know
quality
nothing
of the
about
chef. Even the quality of the chef is a premium
the
thing. man.
spices, all of that.
So we gonna get the fatness of the earth, meaning we gonna get the cream of it, man.
But the thing is, we obviously going to get better than what these elites have, because what they don't have is a premium earth. They don't have a premium earth right now because they destroyed it.
Yeah.
But we're going to get premium earth because everything's going to be returned back to its original state.
Or even these farms that have where Wagyu beef and certain beefs come from, they actually fed a specific diet. So that it's flavor it's in the meat.
That guy Zuckerberg, man, he's planting like a little woodland forest, whatever, of macadamia trees to feed his cows, man. Because those cows will eat macadamia nuts.
Yeah.
And that's a relative in contrast to it. That's a low level.
Yeah, because even steak, when you buy steak, you can see the difference.
Yeah, they talk about the marbling.
Yeah.
Once you get into a millionaire status, you're gonna eat good.
You're gonna eat
Food
great.
is not expensive. There's only so much you can spend on it. So they get the premium, but we're gonna. What our blessing is, as we read, we're supposed to get the fatness of the earth, man.
Hey, and in Kings, right? In Kings, when King Solomon had his like, you know, basically everything his man is.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting, right? If you actually read what his I think it was like a daily food budget
Yeah.
in his kingdom. I actually did a reasonable calculation. It's like 500 grand a day in terms of like the amount of cows, the oxen, the vegetation. I was like, yo, that's balling, bro. If you read the description of the amount of 20 certain oxen,
It's a heavy description.
That's a lot of oxen.
yeah, bro.
$500,000 a day, bro.
You know, after later the spirit might have us read it.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
read through it, you be like,
Yeah,
this is
why not?
living, bro.
Yeah.
You know, now you have get one wing.
We was in
You're
work on nothing, man.
Yeah,
The Lord was blessed us truly.
Abundance, man.
abundance.
That's the fatness.
That's the fatness, man.
You know, even the production of your stuff, because you could be blighted with your production. You know what I'm saying? But your production is giving you all the abundance, man.
The elder you mentioned earlier on about he hasn't got the premium earth. Because the thing is, like, you may buy like an expensive ass Californian wine as an example, but it came out that basically tested a whole load of Californian wines and all of them had glyphosate, had trace of glyphosate, right? So then it's even now you're like, because I was like, no wonder I don't like Californian wine, man. You know, which that's a carcinogen, right? And that's Isaiah 24 and 5,
Kings 4.
right? You know, the earth is
22.
defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
Because all food and all production, the
Really,
foundation of it is the earth. And if the earth ain't right, the produce ain't right. You know, and like I said, Esau's done polluted it and mash it up. So obviously, what he's produced is never going to be the best he could produce. And that's why Esau's never really going to experience that, because he ain't going to be around anyway. You know?
Yeah. If you don't mind, you could read it.
This is 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 22. And it reads, the daily food requirements of Solomon's palace were 150 bushels
But hit those macros, man.
of choice
So you had a bad start.
Bad stuff. Yeah.
of choice flour and 300 bushels of meal. Also 10 oxen
So it's
from
a choice flour.
Choice
It's
flour.
a choice.
Yeah.
But there's levels to
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Now the flour
Find
is
it.
glue. It just sits in your gut for like 9 days.
Well, when I was looking into bread earlier on, a couple of months ago, and then you then precept that with Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, speaks about the grinding, right? Because what would happen in ancient Israel, you'd have someone actually women would be grinding every day, right? So imagine you're talking about choice flour, that means there's a whole lot of
Stop.
Yeah.
every morning.
Stop. Yeah.
Just
Fine.
But that's why the scripture says in Jeremiah, sorry, Isaiah 47, where it talks about sit down in the dust and then grind the meal, because that was representative, like it was poor women or like servant women that would be waking up in the morning to grind the meal. If you were like a lady or princess or whatever, you didn't have to wake up in the morning to do that, because obviously you got a higher status. You know, the lower status women, that's what the brother's saying. They would actually wake up in the morning to grind the meal to prepare, so it was fresh. You know, the only time they would start storing it was for storage.
to be sold. That's it.
and it says 150 bushels of choice flour and 300 bushels of meal. Also 10 oxen from the fattening.
10 oxen, yeah. And bro, like we've done the research, right? You know when you actually see how many meat was produced from one cow, it's like 500, 400 steaks, certain ribs, this shoulder, it's actually like one ox, right, or one cow, whatever it is, can feed a lot of people. You know, like it can probably feed a good 200 people.
So they weren't vegetarian.
They wasn't vegetarian. That's right. They wasn't vegetarian.
I mean, you can be, then that,
Yeah,
you know, if
yeah.
it works for you, works for you.
When the
But they try to make a religion out of it. Like, oh, it's,
I mean, I know that. You know, but you know what I mean. So imagine 10 oxen, 10 daily. That's peas, bro. You know how much money that is.
Bro, man, how many wives you can buy?
Yeah.
How many dowries you
How
can
many
pay?
dowries you
Yeah.
can pay? 10 fat oxen. So, like, they was raised on a certain diet. You know what I mean?
And
Right?
then that means that we'd have an operation to
Yeah,
raise
operation.
cattle, and that's what the Lord will bless you. So
Yeah,
your cattle gender
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that they keep breeding because
Yeah,
they're eating, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And it, so Slappy, go on.
so that would then mean you would have like what you would need there for like a registry, not registry, but it's like to be able to keep track
No,
of
it is.
how
it
much,
is.
how much you
Hey,
add.
if I was gonna say, some of these guys, like when you talk to some of these guys from these African countries, right, like Uganda, a lot of their cuisine is vegetarian because they ain't got cows like that. Like they got meat, but if they kill the cow, they can't just be eating meat every day, like what the brother's saying, because unless you're obviously maybe like, you know, the top duns
Yeah.
and them, you know, they
Yeah.
eat meat every day
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously the way the
Yeah.
rich people obviously is different, but the general guy from
Yeah.
Uganda,
Yeah.
most of their cuisines
Yeah.
is vegetarian, and meat is like for special occasions,
yeah.
bro. You see how much
Yeah,
King
yeah.
Solomon and them, man, they went on special occasion,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's every day.
But that's a sign
Every
of the
day.
fatness of the earth.
Right.
He had the abundance.
Yeah, the abundance.
Yeah.
And America had that.
And
Let me say
America has
this:
it,
America had that
Yeah.
on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So the Lord gave him his little moment,
Little
because
moment.
that's why American cuisine is so meat driven, because they got the meat, they got mass amounts of land,
Cows, corn.
which is spiritual. Because when you go into Israel, you had Manasseh and the half tribe of Manasseh, and was it Reuben?
Oh, what?
That
They
stayed
had
on the
their
other
land
side of the
other
Jordan.
side Jordan.
I'm trying to remember which way it was.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was on the
Can we get that?
Samaria area on the east side.
Yeah,
right?
it was the other side of the Jordan River. They stayed there. Can we get that? Yeah.
Whilst he's getting that, because you said America had that for a bit, but that was also that's the way the Lord did it. When you read the blessing also given to Esau, part of that was also the fact.
And he was going to take it by what? The
That's it.
sword, which that's what I'm going to get to.
Oh, Salakia,
Yeah,
son,
no,
jumping the
don't
gun.
say Salakia. I'm just saying you
Yeah.
made the point. That's what I'm trying to get to, because there is actually a spiritual connection between America and what Esau received and what we're going to receive. Just our thing is the real thing in Israel. It's going to be bigger than that.
So, yeah, Reuben and Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh.
Yeah. So can we read where they said, they said, I think in the book of Joshua, they said we're going to stay here because of the cattle and all that.
Okay.
Because they
Oh,
were,
yeah.
they had,
All their flocks.
they said, yo, this land
This land is
good
yeah,
for,
yeah.
because you with cattle, you need a extra.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
every land is good for everything. That's what people don't realize. Like most places in the world, there's a reason the people generally ate what they ate. Like in China, for instance, their land doesn't really suit livestock everywhere because they got a lot. You know what I'm saying? Different places have, like England is good for cattle and farms.
Yeah,
It actually is good,
yeah, yeah.
and it rains most of the time. Like at least 10 days out of each month, it will rain. So England's good for cattle and potatoes and you know what I'm saying?
And luckily because most island places eat a lot of seafood as well, which is what we kind of lucky we don't. That's why you see certain places in the world that like islands and stuff like that. Bare fish, and there'll be not.
Because they might not have enough land to support, like Argentina and that. So they support massive amounts of cattle.
Yeah.
They just got a massive amount of land that's good for cattle to just walk
Yeah.
on. So over there, they
That's
just
why they
eat.
have some of the best things.
They eat. Yeah, they just eat that stuff like it's normal because they have a lot of cattle.
Most of their cuisine
Have you got that?
involve coconut as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I know Mendoza. That's like a major wine region as well, right? Where you get like your Malbecs and stuff, because then the heat
I believe
makes it
it's
quite
in-
heavy. Which is actually kind of funny now that I think about it, because they say Malbec pairs very well with steak. It's like Argentina, he's got a lot of steak, and it's got and it's the home of Malbec.
Yeah,
I'm not
because it was
mistaken.
they said it and then they said
That
it
or
again. Yeah,
chicken
that's it.
afterwards together.
Yeah, so if we get that, because it's gonna link up with America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top.
This is Numbers 32 from the top. And it says, Reuben and Gad settled in Gilead. It says, now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle.
See, so them two tribes specifically, they were rolling in the beef.
And it's funny because in America, same
So
thing.
this is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna get to it, man. Yeah, your brothers just. No, but that's exactly. There's an echo there.
Yeah.
And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle.
You see, because there's a place that's a place for cattle. There's a place that's like grape. Like not every place you could grow good grapes. There's specific place where the soil and the geography is good. Yeah, you brothers know something. You can say it, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, because me and the brother went to a vineyard, a winery and that, and it was like a little tour around this vineyard, right? They were going through the different grapes that they were growing. They said it's hard to grow this type of grapes because the location of where they are, you know, and they set different grapes in certain parts of the land where it would be uphill or downhill, that kind of stuff, with the wind and all these types of things, whatever. So yeah, you know, it just shows you land and position is very important. Well, like in business studies, location matters. Location matters, man. So
terrain.
Some places might not be a good fit for certain places. So you have to use wisdom to understand to know what to do.
Even certain fruits, like apple trees don't grow in Ghana. You know, like it just doesn't. It's very rare. Yeah, it's basically, I think they like tried something a couple years ago, but like the land and heat is not good.
So
Grow apples.
So if you're gonna grow apples, don't move to Ghana.
what you saying? Building
Unless you want to build a greenhouse.
I would say building on the wine thing as well. That's what the lady was explaining, because England doesn't get that hot. You only really see white wine coming out of it, right? But even then, she was saying because it's getting hotter, like some of the French wineries are now starting to move to like Kent, because it's like it's getting a bit too hot in France for certain things. But then also the thing about size, because England is small, that's why there isn't a big English wine scene, because the size of, I think she said, like the size of all of the English winery vineyards is like maybe like one South African vineyard, because they just got a lot more land just over there for that particular purpose.
Because we're known for like farming vegetables and these different types of things here. So we wasn't really given to grapes and all these different types of things. So trying to find a space for them now that the weather's changed, the temperatures and that kind of change, it's kind of hard for them to grow where they need to grow.
And it says, verse 2, the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Ataroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Elah and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel, is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? And wherefore discourage ye the hearts of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them?
That's
the point. So they had the cattle, so they kept they had that land. So a lot of that cattle that Solomon was gonna get would have come from them. Them man are paying the tribute and giving man the cattle, man, because they had cattle in abundance down there.
And you know what, bro? If you can go back to that one in Kings, read the 7th verse, because what's interesting that the King Solomon had actually 12 men whose like their job every month of the year was to make sure his everything was in order with his food, man. So that just shows you, even in the kingdom, man. We all gonna have our own roles and responsibilities. You know what I mean? You might have that makes a certain kind of wine that certain brother like. Yeah. Like a farmland that grows this type of sheep or cattle.
And this is why we have a whole bunch of servants, man. Yeah. We have a whole bunch of servants who go and do these things, man. That's it. You're gonna take that trip down to wherever you need to go. You know what I mean? Make sure if it's good, if it's running fine down there. And bring back whatever you need to bring back, or you you just come and bring it down.
That's it,
or whatever,
They're back into Kings
4 and 7.
The Passover is gonna be a mad thing.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone's gonna be on point, like
you might as well be on point.
You gotta be on point, man.
Yeah. 1 Kings 4 and 7. It says Solomon also had 12 district governors who were over all Israel.
Think about that. That's deep.
They were responsible for providing NLT slacker. They were responsible for providing food for the king's household. Each of them arranged provisions for 1 month of the year.
It's that's real blessing, bro. That's every month. So imagine that their job, bro, to make sure his house had that.
It's not the king's, it's not the king's job to worry about where to eat. Why is it? So he set up men to do those sort of things for him, man.
We're in the palace. It wasn't just like a personal thing. Remember that he had his guard, he had his people. This is all about the administration of the kingdom. So for those people, he had to provide ways.
So I had to unplug the mic. So could we move forward just so because of the wind? Yes, yeah, we're struggling to charge.
Let's get down which verse from 22. Okay. Back to 22, 1 Kings 4:22. The daily food requirements for Solomon's palace were 150 bushels of choice flour and 300 bushels of meal. Also, 10 oxen from the fattening pens, 20 pasture-fed cattle,
Like 20 others, right?
100 sheep or goats.
Sheep or goats. Like, you know, I mean, I've actually been at for funerals where they get like two sheep and it feels like 50 to 100 people.
It shows you when no Mickey Mouse operation. The palace was a big thing.
Logistics, that was what I was looking. The logistics, yeah.
The palace was a big thing that was going on. When a couple man there, mans and families, everything, slaves, civilization, and military.
Because even when you look at the temple with Levi, like not every Levi was necessarily like top priest. There are other roles within like certain lines because it's only the son of Aaron that was the chief priest. But we also had
The other
Levites that had other responsibilities, even in the temple. You know? Like
bookkeeping
yeah,
or whatever,
bookkeeping.
whatever
Do you remember
scribes.
John the Baptist's dad? The incense bearer, you know? Because remember, he was doing his daily duties, and that's when he went flight.
100 sheep or goats, as well as deer, gazelles, roe deer, and choice of poultry.
Yeah, so nice turkey.
Chicken's alright. You can eat
chicken, quail. You know what I mean? Like that. Just think about how much that is in money. Like that's me, bro.
I pay £20 for a kilo of lamb.
And they could afford it because when the people are doing well, then they kick up to the king and the king's doing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they get paid as well. So it's like, yeah,
Win.
Verse 24.
So imagine you're doing business with the royal family. You know what I mean? You're good. You know what I mean? You're providing the royal family. That's why you see.
Some of it was not paid for, but they might have to pay tribute. Tribute would come sometimes. That's what we give it. Up. I would expect it's like, pay your dues. But they used to have to pay taxes as well. Taxes were always levied in money. Just like the tithes. Tithe was not money. If you produce a certain thing, you give that to the Levites. Like, give a cow, give a whatever you want. Yeah. Because it's your increase. So, verse 24. But obviously, there probably would be situations where outside of that, the king had money they could buy as well. Outside of the, I'm just saying, both those things could happen. Some of it could be being poor, but some of it could be the actual tribute that you got to pay or tax you got to pay to the king. Because you're helping to sustain the king, but the king uses his resources. Like if there's a war, remember he had a standing army. You know, with the Poles, say he would keep that standing army. If you had a problem, you send the army. You know what I'm saying? So you got to help pay for all that. Yeah.
I was only going to mention this on that point. Is that, you know, her Majesty the Queen when she was still alive, right? There were certain companies she used to deal with.
Yes,
you have like a royal stamp
crest.
on the back of it saying this is a company that works for the royal family.
Patronage.
Yeah. You know, similar type thing.
Verse 24. Solomon's dominion extended over all the kingdoms of the west of the Euphrates River, from Tifsah to Gaza and there was peace on all his borders.
Yeah, and guess what? That's coming back in the kingdom of heaven, man. You know what I mean? That's, you know,
I don't.
probably just about war, but yeah. So that's practically what's coming back, man. Because, you know, during this time he was ruling, there was peace. So that same thing is what the Lord is coming back now, but like a different level, or like a nation of kings and priests. See, right? Oh, and guess what? But that will, you also need space, man. You know?
This is John 10:10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
This whole bullshit on the Yahushua is going to be under a different vibration, man. You know, and it starts with the Lord's elect, right? They're the ones that be given the truth. They're the ones that are going to be delivered from the destruction, and they're going to be the government. The 100,000 is going to, you know, establish, you know, the rule in the kingdom, and everybody's going to be under the vibrations. The earth is going to be, you know, in a much better place.
Yeah, so the fight was focusing on what?
So like I was saying, we go to America now. They called America the New Canaan. It's insane. So they were the manifest destiny, the New Canaan. And who had the land? Gad and Reuben. And what they had there was the same thing. America's full of good, arable land, man, for the buffalo and all that. And they killed most of the buffalo, but then replaced the buffalo with cattle, which is why America is one of is the biggest producer of beef. Because they have that land there where they can produce, so that's why they eat a lot of steak and brisket and all these different things. That's part of their diet because they produce a lot of beef, so it's cheaper there too because they have abundance of it. But it's just funny because Gad and Reuben had that same kind of land. You know,
I just think they had even more land than they had back in Israel. You know, America's a massive place.
But we're gonna get all that fatness back. You know, bless it.
And it's funny. Half tribe as well. That people, they're also known for their good steak as well. So, and good cattle as well.
Got a little AI overview on America and beef. It says America is a global leader in meat production, especially with poultry and beef, consistently ranking among the top countries worldwide. The U.S. meat industry produces billions of pounds of meat annually, a process that contributes significantly to the national GDP and provides millions of jobs.
And you're asking why is it?
Yeah, and then so the scripture says that they would get the fatness of the earth by the sword. That's how they got it, man. They stole America, man. And America's an extremely fruitful land too. That's what the Lord's going to destroy it.
That's what you should come up with. The reason why they can is because the land is so good for that purpose. You know?
In terms of food production, and well, America's got it all. You got whole states that ain't nothing but giant farms. There's states where you just drive. Is it one time or so? A lot of them southern mid countries, there's no one there. Like, just keep driving and it's cornfields before you get to the next person. Yeah, because it's just bare farmland. Like, it's not like New York. Most of the highly densely populated areas are like on the coast, New York and so forth. Once you start getting to the middle of America, man, it's cornfields and shit. You know, they produce a lot of food.
It says the U.S. is a global leader in meat production due to its large-scale technological advanced agricultural systems, strong agricultural traditions, efficient supply chains, and a cultural embrace of meat consumption, boosted by factors like the rise of global meat complex and recent cultural and political shifts, advances in feed, genetics, antibiotics.
So we saw technology, right? Right.
Yeah, but all that's built on what was there before, exactly, which was these farms. That's where you get the cowboys from.
These people already in abundance before you did all that.
Yeah,
So it's,
but now obviously, you know, they've used it to hype it up. We get it. But what we're saying is that they had to have the land in order to do that in the first place, and that's why you had the whole idea of the cowboy and the cattle runs. You know what I mean? That's actually a part of like culture. You know what I mean? Because man, know about the cowboy. What they doing? They were moving the cows from one place to another to sell them. Right.
Babylon is really obviously good, but it's also historically, and even now you can still see it in some parts. It's really a beautiful place.
Yeah, horses are native to America. They came with Spanish. It's crazy. When you think of cattle, you think about them on horses, but that happened over a very short space of time. The horses weren't there to begin with. They become faster, right? Yeah, the Spanish brought them, and then that's why you get the wild horses. The wild horses were horses that obviously were released, and then they started breeding because obviously there's bare like they didn't have really no natural predators, and you got all that pasture. So you got bare wild horses in America. Like, you know, when Gad was on them, they had smaller ones. They used to like to ride the small steeds because they were quicker, more agile. Yeah. When I found out, I was like, damn, what do you mean? I thought them man, the way them organizers like they've been riding the horses for 1,000 years. No, it's like in a very short space of time, it became ingrained into culture. It shows you how quickly something can be ingrained into someone's culture, just like that. You think they've always done it, but it's the same thing when you go into spices. And most spices people associate with certain places doesn't even come from there. It was brought there like very recently in history. But when you think like I believe chili is actually from the Americas. It's not from India. There's a lot of things like that. Vanilla comes from an orchid, which is also native to the Americas. So there was no vanilla like in on the east side. Like that's something that came from Mexico and that place.
And even us in the West Coast and even throughout like all of Africa, cassava is not native. Like you know how people make the banku and fufu and all that thing. Those things are not actually native. So over there, it came back across.
Oh, tomatoes are not native to Italy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, imagine that one. That's crazy, and that's what they're known for. Spaghetti, tomato dishes. Nice. So tomatoes are not native. So that's why learning history is interesting, man. But anyway, go on.
Says American land is used for a wide range of activities, including agriculture, livestock, urban development, forestry, and resource extraction. The country's vast size and diverse geography allow for extensive crop production, substantial energy resource reserves, and large areas for raising cattle.
So the land they stole from the Native American Indians wasn't just any land. That land of America, as well as the other lands that they stole in the Americas, was just producing wealth. You could extract so much wealth from this land. This weren't no low-level land. If that land was up for that today, there would be a World War III. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about like gold. Any resource you could think of is in America. Oil. Gold, silver, oil, fucking land for cattle, land for orange, because you got the tropics area. Yeah. So you could do all the tropical plants down there. Yeah. Bro, it's got everything. You got the tree, you got states where you got bare trees and forests, different type of trees, like redwoods. It's got everything you need. So when they stole that land, that's a lot of wealth. Because where does wealth come from? Wealth comes from the ground. That's why it comes from the grave. Yeah. That's why if you ever played any of these games, right, where you do Greece or something, Hades was not only the god of death, he was also the god of silver. Because where do you put the dead? Okay, and where'd you get silver from? So what was Hades really? So when we're trying to tell you that hell is not real, just understand, like, this is not no crazy. They use this whole idea of Hades and all this fairy tale they built upon something that was actually real. That's why in the Plutos means riches, which Pluto is Hades. So when we're telling you that the grave, hell is the ground, that's what it is. Physically, the reality is that's where it is, and that's where wealth comes from. All wealth comes from the ground. Yeah? If you ain't got ground, you ain't got wealth. That's why men have always fought over what? Land. They fight over air, they fight over land. because that's where the money's at.
And it's the same thing I was saying. These elites, they got the earth right now, but they haven't got it in its peak state. So they're never going to get the best of what they can extract from the earth, man. Until the kingdom is established, and we're going to get the best out of it. We're going to experience the best of everything, man. Better than these elites ever have. Just on that point with the whole Hades and Plutos thing, right? This is 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 16. For we are not following cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, for eyewitness of His Majesty. We're not going by all these stories and fables and of the hell, ooh, scary Dante's Inferno. They're just stories, man.
Yeah, and even the stories don't agree, because if you do research into the mythology behind Hades, the Ecclesian fields, in different time periods it changed. And that's what most people don't realize, that what you hear is like the most popular version of something. It's just like if you go into Egyptology, right? Don't you know that each city had a different version of how they would represent a different god, and a different god would be the higher god in a different region than another region. So they had different stories, and you know what I'm saying? And then even that town, if you go there like 100, 200 years later, it's all changed. So, but you here now, when you're watching a movie or you're learning about it, you're just learning a snapshot in time of what they said about that. But if you actually go deeply into it, you're like, hold on, okay, so so that god, that's his origin in that time, but literally 200 years later, there's a different origin. So which origin is the real one? Nah, none of them is bullshit. But the Bible is a consistent narrative, right? We never changed it from one time to another. We might have changed the gods we worship, but in terms of the story, that the actual Bible, it's no different. So when a man's telling you about hell, that's how they don't really research it. When they research, they'll be like, well, the idea of what hell is at one point was one place. Then it became multiple places. Then it became, you go here if you couldn't. It's all madness. Which one you gonna believe in then? And then you come here now and you agree with one version of that, but it's not biblical. It's not in the Bible. The Bible, if it was in the Bible, Moses would have warned man about that. That's the first thing. Listen, I'm like, Moses, I'll be burning for keeping my dark. Like, you didn't tell me that if I didn't keep these laws, I'll be burning forever. You should have led with that.
It's unfair.
There was never been a judgment. All right, if you do this, but you got burn it down.
Bro, you lead with that. Yeah, by the way, you don't keep these commandments.
I mean, what do you need the rest of the curses?
Yeah, like, forget all that. Like, that's insignificant. You mean to tell me when I die, I'm going to burn forever?
Yeah.
Just that's all you need to say.
I mean, Saul, when he died, actually, that's right before he died, when he called up the spirit, or like the prophet told him, look, you and your son going to be in the spirit.
Yeah. So
they go to hell. We would tell him, you are going to hell.
Yeah.
But what he was doing, raising up the spirit, was
you would have told him you're gonna burn in hell, bro.
You're gonna burn in hell, bro.
Yeah.
Especially when you break one, you break the moon kind of thing. Like, you don't even like he waited this way. You broke,
bro. Put it this way: you can't throw a stone around a Christian church here about a depiction or a reference to burning in hell. So if burning in hell is if it's so significant, then you wouldn't be able to turn a page in the Bible without hearing about it.
Yeah.
So how come you're constantly hearing it in Christianity, but in the Bible it's barely mentioned? That's because there's something there's something not right here.
You mixed in Roman and Greek fantasy, bro.
That's what the prophets will talk about. Forget going into captivity, bro. That's nothing, bro. You're going to hell. What's captivity compared to hell, bro?
Yeah.
But they won't talk about captivity, bro. Christians don't talk about captivity.
No.
They talk about hell, though.
Yeah.
These men are going to go into slavery. They don't like that, though.
Bro, forever's a long time, right?
It's the book of Revelation 20 and 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
Yeah, that's right. Death and hell. So what does that mean?
Yeah. How you do that?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Pick up the world and turn it upside down.
Hey,
Hold it in itself.
That's it. when the prophet Jonah got swallowed up by a fish, he said, out of the belly of hell I cried out to thee.
That was the condition. it makes sense because this is where you feel pain. This is where you feel anguish and sorrow. This is hell. This is where people try to escape. People catch so much hell there, they jump over a bridge. They want to go to the next place. And that's actually in the scriptures, man. Man said there's many that desire to go, you know. This is,
even the wicked are at rest.
yeah,
That's what you say, right?
this is hell. This could be heaven or it could be hell. It depends on which way you go into a crack house. That's hell right there, man. It smells like hell too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Or you kid that one of these rings, right? That's a hell of life, bro. You know?
That's why it's very simple. Anytime, like the brother said, if you read the scriptures, the penalties for wickedness has always been something that's been executed on earth. It's never been like, oh yeah, wait till I get you, right? Wait till I send you down to the pitchfork, guy.
Yeah. So that's why in John 9 it says, "Master, who did sin? This man or his parents?" Even though he was born blind for real, they understood the concept. He's not really born judged for his sins. He came from it now.
Well, that's why was man born into slavery?
Exactly.
You got children that were actually born as slaves.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Judgment.
Judgment of the Lord, man.
This is Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, and wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, and iniquity was there. I said in my heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
And that's why Esau's going into hell. And his hell, it ain't gonna be burning nowhere. This is where you burn. This is, hey, Jake in the lynchings, bro. This is where you can get burned. Remember, they put man over the fire and was lifting him up and dropping him down. This is hell right here, and Esau gonna find out. Ain't no, the hell's gonna be here with me. You gonna be here with us, man. I'm gonna show you what hell's all about.
That was hell, bro.
Slavery is hell. What is freaky even man is Lord and holy, man. Prison is hell. Prison is a hell within hell. If hell had a hell, it would be a prison, man. Man's in there getting raped and all sorts, man. It's disgusting. Just pure violence. Man's taking spice, rotting their damn brain out, man. That's hell in there. Stinking.
Second Ezra chapter 14, verse 35. After death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. So how do you live again after death? If you just return to spirit and that's it. You know, you either go to heaven or hell. How do you live again?
The spirit is just you, but you have a body, a abode that your spirit can dwell in. You got terrestrial bodies, but you got celestial bodies. You got bodies that dwell in the celestial realm. So when you die here, your spirit goes up and goes into a body that's already there, and you inhabit that body. And then when it's time for you to come back down here, you leave that body, right? Which is why it's known as a form of resurrection. And then you come back down here.
You know, I'm not using anime reference to get stuck here, but like, you remember Dragon Ball Z? You know when like Goku first died, he was just spirit ball or something, you know, but they gave him his body in it because you know he's done such good deeds or whatever. But he's able to take form in his body in the spiritual world. Everybody else was just like a flame, you know, flame of the spirit floating around. But that's what it's kind of like. We are spirits, we are that energy, that flame, that fire, and we go and reside in bodies, you know, the celestial.
But that's why the Most High has a body. And these bodies here were made as a reflection of the bodies that originally existed in the spirit world. Everything existed in the spirit before it existed in the flesh. And the flesh is like a reflection. That's why the Most High has got hair and a body, but it's not a body made of this type of flesh. This is the Temu body. That's the next level body on a higher vibration. When you understand it like that, yeah, that's why you could describe legs and arms and clothing. But it's on a spiritual plane. But this plane, we got the same thing, legs and arms. But as the scripture says, it's a different glory.
After death shall the judgment come when we shall live again. Reincarnation, right? Then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, right? Because they're going to be, you know, they have the blessings on the return.
Glorified, yeah.
You know?
And that's what's going to happen when the Lord returns. All of the elect are going to be blessed with the Lord, man. And it's going to be known that, yeah, these are the ones that were faithful.
Yep. So, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
yeah, it's gonna be known that you're the wicked ones because you're gonna be put into a pitiful state, and it's gonna be known that you deserve it. It's not gonna be like, oh, why are we here? No,
You know.
you're in the pitiful state you're in. You Edomites are gonna know that you're the devil, and that's why you're suffering.
Same way we're in captivity, we're supposed to understand why we're in slavery because it's what we've done. So you're gonna understand the same thing that your wickedness led you to where you are today.
And guess what? If hell exists, why is Esau going to slavery?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone will say, some of these camps will say hell, and they say that they're gonna have Esau in slavery. No, how? So why didn't he just?
Well,
that's redundant.
Let's be honest, right? If Yahushua is the only righteous one, the one, right? Where's everyone else got there? We're all fucked up.
Well, I got another one. Why would he need to come back to save anyone? When if we die, we're gonna be going to heaven anyway.
So
just let everyone die. Like, it's cool,
bro. Like slavery and reincarnation of the nation, especially Esau, it coexists. You know what I mean? Because the scripture says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." But like a normal Edomite, you know what I mean? You say, "Well, I'm fucking born in '95, bro. Like I never had." Guess what? Your past life. That's why when it's time for you to be a slave now, it makes sense. Because
and let me say this: you don't have to personally own slave.
No. Oh yeah,
Part of
only
try that.
2%.
To be part of the system.
It's still wicked, bro.
It's still part of the terroristic system. Like, stop it. And Egypt proves that because
I think about
the Egyptians, every Egyptian didn't own Israel. Okay, exactly. But all the firstborn of all Egypt died because man were part of the enterprise. But let's not try and play these games out here.
What the scripture say? The same with the servant and the maid, the king.
You had Egyptian. You were part of the enterprise, like we were talking about. That whole enterprise was part of the building of America, man.
Yeah, bro. When the public lynchings was happening, it wasn't a Rothschild. Oh, let me get off and my horse. No, it was a local Edomite nigga, bro. That was doing it.
The popular thing for these Edomites to do now is to blame it all on the JOO.
Nah, bro.
Oh, hey, it's the JOO. It's not white people. No, guess what? There ain't no JOO. You're all so-called white people, man. And you're all going down together. It was a joint enterprise. But now they're trying to scapegoat everything. No. That's not going to happen. You were wicked. You're the devil too. You're part of it. Yeah? You are. They're just your heads. But you're the body. You're part of the body, man. Don't play these games.
And Obadiah says thou shouldn't even look. But when you look at the postcards they used to send one another, they were all looking.
They're part of it. This man trying to scapegoat the JOO like it was just them. No, don't do that. You're all part of the game. You've been part of the game from a long time. It ain't just the JOOs that enrich themselves. It ain't Let's not play these kind of games. You're all guilty. So we're not gonna go. Blacks don't know that it's not white people. It's really no. You're all Edomites. That's why we don't play them kind of games. They're Edomites too. You're an Edomite. If they didn't even have them names, you wouldn't even tell them all from them apart. Like, get out of here. Come on.
So Amos 1:11, God said the Lord, for free transgression of Edom, and for foe, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pit.
Yeah, they didn't have no pit. That's why God, he stole the whole entirety of the land until it was systematic here, until God was left on the worst parts of the land with nothing. They stole it all, and even including Canada too. Including Canada as well. Canada also belonged to God. People like to forget about that. Because the Canadians are so nice. No, they stole the land too. And they stole a massive, they took it all for themselves. You're going to have to pay for that, man. Then you want to turn around and call everyone else a criminal, and everyone else is an immigrant, and everyone else is invading. You're the number one invader on the planet Earth, man.
Why are people here? You guys, you think people,
man, have a party and we're invading.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Man, come out with a camera. This is London. There's some niggas just chilling, drinking some flipping line.
So where did you get this from?
Drinking some Dragon Stout. Yeah, man's like, oh, see, they're invading. No, bro, that's not an invasion. Them man are just having a party and working. What you did is an invasion.
The fact that they're here.
Yeah, Yeah, it was part of the invasion. When you went to other people's countries, you weren't just throwing a party and working, bro. These men are just working, and now they have a little street party. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. It's fucking London. It looks like Pakistan. Like, bro, like, so what does Australia look like? Exactly. What does South Africa look like? When you Edomites went to South Africa, did you just go over there looking for jobs and threw a party? Or did you go over there killing, murdering, stealing, took over the whole infrastructure and took everything to yourself? That's what you did. But some immigrants come here and you're calling them invaders. The biggest hypocrites ever. Man just want to drive a Bimmer, bro. Most of these Elam that come here ain't coming here thinking, I'm trying to invade. They're coming here like, yo, I'm trying to get a job with a salary so I can drive down the street listening to Movado with my Bimmer down Ilford Lanes.
It's raining. That's what they do.
Gangsta for life.
Yeah. But you might get upset because you ain't running in the building.
Yeah. That's what you
You're speed for like 8 meters.
He's the number one head on that. He's the number one. He's a hater. When you got something nice, he detests me, man. He's just a hater. You come back, your car's all scratched. Because he ain't got a film.
You're the invader, man. You're the one that systematically went everywhere on the earth, and you didn't just go there to just work and make a better way for yourself. You went there to steal, to kill, to Micah 2 and 1 the whole game, man. So to the point where you now own the land. Literally, and are dictating all the laws and the rules and everything, and telling everyone else they're an immigrant now. It's insane.
This is the Commonwealth of Nations. The Commonwealth of Nations, often referred to as the British Commonwealth, or simply Commonwealth, is an international association of 56 member states, the vast majority of which are former territories of the British Empire, from which it developed.
These men went over there, made the people learn your language. They had to learn your language, make them, anything respectable has to come from you. So anything they do that's a tradition, no, you need to shake hands. You need to do it this way. You know, everything you do that's anything civilized comes from us. That's what you did. That's why the whole world is under your influence. Even their court systems, man will wear a wig in Ghana. Instead of when you first got there, the man would sit like and do their own court. They got to do their court like how you do the court. That's what you did. You went around the world forcing yourself.
They're changing our ways. They get rid of Christmas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bro,
what you doing?
But ain't even them doing that. You're doing that. It's Edomite system. The biggest man's that's into Christianity is the Nigerian.
Fucking Diwali.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like anyone's forcing them to keep it. But you actually force people. It's insane. Like, you did all this stuff. Like, you're a demon. And then you're turning around and trying to play the victim now. You're not the victim. You're the perpetrator.
You're just upset because you're a two-time loser, man. That's what it is. You need to respect you. Don't give a shit about you. They're not stressing, bro. They're not stressing about immigration. They ain't stressing. They're living good. It's a shoot.
It's an invasion. And then on top of that, you see the hypocrisy of the Edomites, right? If you immigrate among Edomites and you move as one family among Edomites, fuck, they will target your shit, man. You're going to get bullied. Your children are going to get bullied by the other Edomites. They're going to get bullied by the adults. And this is man speaking from experience. You'll have grown men stopping in their cars going, oi, nigger, and all that stuff. This is what they do. This is how they treat people that are from somewhere else. They're not nice. They're not a welcoming group of people. So then what do? You say, rah, well, we need to live amongst each other so that we don't, that's where you get your Brixtons. Man say, rah, like, we need to live together. When you don't live among them and you live by yourself, they say, look, they're not integrating.
Yeah.
But you don't want us anyway. Bro,
of shit.
I remember the first, because when I was growing up where we grew up, there's only maybe like 3 or 4, and I know them all, that's how you know. There's like 2 or 3 black families in the whole area, right? And I remember when the first Indian family moved in, it was up, up near the hill going over to your side from my side. They moved in there where Carl used to live, right? Bro, house getting bricked. House getting bricked regular, man putting dog shit through it. And these men have not done nothing. The only thing they've done is to be Indian.
To live.
In an area surrounded by white people.
Not to take over.
No, they just, you know what I mean? And their house is stinky packy and all this stuff. Like, this is the reality. So yeah, you better off moving to Ilford. And then when you live in them areas just by yourself, they come with a camera and go, this ain't London. What's happening there? And then this is it.
In these isolated areas.
You integrate, right? So you start talking like that, like my cousin. I got a cousin. You'd never know he grew up in Montreal. Bro, yeah, mate. You know, bro, man. Listen, bro. If you hear this guy is dark. Yeah? But if you hear him talk, you never know that he actually grew up till he was like at least 20 in Montreal. Because
20.
Bro, them niggas is older than me. So them, when we came over,
You saw that late.
bro, most of my cousins, they came over. They were older than me. You know what I'm saying? So they're big. They're like big youth, yeah. But their accent. But Esau still don't accept you. The first thing you do is like, oh, you're not really British. He's not really English. You see all over. Okay, so they want you to integrate. But if you integrate, they still don't really accept you. Because as far as they're concerned, you're not one of them. This is the hypocrisy of Esau. And then they say, oh, well, he speaks with a funny accent. Bro, the whole of England speaks with a funny accent. Man from Newcastle, what do they speak like? Man from Wolverhampton and the ER, and all this stuff. You listen to Coronation Street. So which accent do you want me to integrate with? Then they'll tell you, oh, they don't integrate into British culture. Which one then? Is it the Welsh one, the Scottish one, or the English one?
Well, hold on, they celebrate Christmas. They all do, bro. Like, they all do it, bro.
Bro,
Christmas comes on, they're like, yeah, great.
What it is that they just not, they're
Intolerant.
inherently racist. That's really what it comes down to, because Wales has a distinct culture. Scotland has a distinct culture, and England has a distinct culture. So there really is no such thing as British culture. British culture does not exist. Because Wales was his own country with his own culture, so was England, and so was Scotland. Them Scottish man, they have gravy with their fish and chips. Down in South, we have curry sauce. Man. We're not the same. Yeah. They do things different. So then why can't my man come with some plantain, blood? What's your problem?
The food smells.
Have you seen Scotland have haggis and all them? They don't. The Scottish. If you look up the Scottish national dish, it's not the same as the British national dish, and it's not the same as the Welsh national dish. So why can't man come with his food?
And
they curries.
And even some of the food that's a national dish was imported
for somewhere else.
From other European countries.
So what it really is forget
and you
all
man like bananas.
The bananas. No, tea. Where does tea come from? So
tea didn't.
What are you talking about?
So really, what it comes down to is all that stuff that they say is an excuse. What it really is that they hate you, and there's nothing. That's why I keep telling you people that there's nothing you can do to please Esau. No matter which way you go with it, you could be super away from them, or you could try to emulate them and be like them. And they're still gonna find a reason to hate you because they're a hateful group of people.
I got a precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Psalms 36, verse 1 on down. The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes, for he flattereth himself in his own eyes.
They still have this notion that they're world saviors. Yeah. They have a notion that they're smarter than everyone else, that they're more civilized than everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, they're human, which they're not. Everything they've done throughout history to this day is uncivilized behavior. Yeah. They're the most uncivilized people you ever find on the face of the planet Earth.
He's just got Hollywood. In Hollywood, he likes to push, like you always talk about 007, right? In Hollywood, he's always pushing this idea that he's the one that's saving the world. He's the one that's bringing the best. That if they would like talk about whenever there's something to do with saving the world, right? It's a small hat that's in the ID4, I believe it was a small hat that was all in the labs. You know, oh, it's gonna come from this, all of that stuff. But in reality, that's not who you are.
When you're using your military, right, to defend your interests, what makes you any different than Pope Pookie, who's using the man them underneath him to defend his corner? There is no difference. It's still the same principle that I'm using violence to establish my money making. But they will portray it in a different way, like it's something noble about what they're doing. Like if they go blow up a country to take the oil, there's something noble about this. But it's no different than my man that went and ran man off the corner and took their corner.
What America just did? They just bombed the Venezuelan ship and in the middle of the sea, allegedly because there was drugs.
But how does another nation get away with doing something like that? They can't,
because
America
they can set the narrative to make themselves appear to be the good guys to be civilized. Like we don't do no, you know, the way they will say it is, if you come to England, they won't be racist against you. They're the victims. And it's like, bro, I came here. I know the reality of what you are. I know that you're not this civilized people. Hey, legally, you're not this civilized people that like are non-violent. You're very violent people. Every week of the football man can tell you that.
When Jake from the Caribbean first come, you know what I mean? Like, there was no trouble with us. He coming to work. But you had a problem. We were asked to come. We were asked. We were invited. An invitation by the Queen. You know,
the man come here to work. And we had a problem. Most Jake work. A lot of these Edomites don't work, but they ignore all these Edomites that are on Benefit Street.
Yeah.
They ignore them. They ignore all the low level. So many low level, low down Edomites exist. You got whole towns in the UK with Edomites just walking up and down the street drunk and on drugs. But that won't brand all the Edomites. But then the one guy, I was watching one video and he said they're importing that Black American crack culture. I'm like, I know drug culture. I'm like, but bro, the opioid crisis is white people. The meth crisis is white people. Why are you singling out black people? And then for the fact that the crack epidemic was actually the drugs are being brought in by white people. But it's like you're labeling us with it. These men are druggies. But then Mick Jagger, the rock star with cocaine dust all up in his eyelashes, he's doing the drug culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude. Rock on. Come out on stage, eyes dilated, but they're not druggies.
getting the shit from the small hats.
I have a quick one. This is Revelation 12:10. And it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of the anointed. The accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night.
And that's what these Edomites do online. They draw the negative. They'll take all the negative about Jake and make that our identity. But all the negatives about Esau, that doesn't get to be their identity. They want to reinvent things. You know, they want all the good things to represent them. And it's like, but bro, that's not the reality of who you are. Because if you were that good, the world wouldn't be the way it is. The world is the way it is as a result of your demonic actions. The third world, they're a third worlder. You created the third world. That is you not only created it, but you sustain it to be that way. And even the AI broke it down.
And they always push that we haven't done anything productive. So they'll forget things that we do that's bad, but they'll hide the things that we do that's good.
And it's like when Esau would conquer people, Esau didn't conquer like just some on the street. The whole point of conquering is to go and take their substance and make it yours. You know what I mean? You don't go on a dude on the street and go and take his money because you ain't got nothing anyway.
As if the world never had moved forward with no matter who's in power, the world will kind of move forward with certain things. There's never been a time in the world where no inventions happened. You know what I'm saying? Things always kind of move forward in some way or so. But Esau just happened to be here towards the end and he's trying to take all the credit. Like you're so smart, and most of these men are stupid as hell.
Yeah. And if I can build on that, Jaquan, it's when you look at the patent system. I'll do a video on it one day. The patent system was designed in a way so that it didn't. Once again, it's that thing of if you got the money, you can file the patent. If you ain't got the money, guess what? You can't file the patent. And what you call one of these elites will then come, oh, that's a good idea, and then take it from you. And then there was a period of time when in the States, Jake couldn't file patents. Period. So it didn't matter whether they had invented something. They couldn't file the patent.
The Negro was too stupid to come up with anything. Yep. And people forget that whole period of history when Esau said we were stupid, we were too stupid to fly planes, too stupid to do everything.
We always turn out to be the best.
Yeah. You're a demon, man.
In their heart of hearts, they still believe that.
No, but that's what that guy said to that Indian guy. White people are smarter than you. You saw the video. You never saw that? Brother posted it in the comment board. We're just smarter than you.
You ask why, you can't break it down.
Yeah, he can't. Because it's just the propaganda.
Because he knows he's not talking about himself. He knows he ain't talking about himself. He ain't smart.
Yeah.
So how can you say that?
Look, man, have you spoken to like one of them Nigerians, man? They'll be using English. You didn't even know it was English.
He's not a shoot back. You know what I mean? He's not a shoot back, bro. You know what I mean? He's a real team, bro.
Well, even that one basketballer, Remember, he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
got a
yeah.
degree. He's got everything. He can play the instrument. He can build a house. He can do everything. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Esau has held people back
Yeah.
to
course.
be in the position that he is.
Yeah.
You know, but he'll pretend that, you know, well, they're just like that because they're like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes him feel better, makes him feel superior, but he's not superior, man.
He's a liar. And that's one of the things I like talking
especially
about.
school system.
Yeah. One of the things I like talking about is when you look at, because this is all stuff that is documented recent history, right? Is what he did with it and how he portrayed the Japanese during World War II, and then what he did post World War II in terms of controlling the what do you call it, the emperor at the time, and using him as a puppet. It's all documented.
It's all standard shit. It's
It's all-
propaganda.
that's Esau.
It's all standard stuff. You make the opposition basement, violent, savages, and whatever.
Yeah, that's how
You
the
know,
Japanese
that's how you-
portrayed.
yeah. That's what Esau's done to every nation they've gone up against. And told you the same thing, that these men are brutes and they don't know nothing and they need to be civilized.
And that's what he's gonna do to us right in this time that we're coming in, man.
Yeah, everyone
They-
else,
they need to
everyone
talk
else is
great values.
the rapist, right?
Yeah,
But then what's the real story of Pocahontas? What's the real story of Pocahontas, man?
And then all these stories like Jack the Ripper and all these different types of characters, man, like they exist in your culture, in your histories, man.
Come on, man. These man,
Right, Jake.
these man, Edomites, the number one date raper are Edomites. They're the man that's drugging these gal in the club and raping them. Man.
Pedophiles,
Fuck out of here, man.
you know,
Exactly. Hey, Jake
Murders.
spitting that game, man.
mass murderers. It's all
Bro,
Esau.
they raped Earth.
Bro, you caused
They-
world
you know what I mean?
wars. You caused 2 world wars.
But it's real.
Yeah,
They've
demons,
taken
man.
it by, by the sword shall I live. They've done nothing but rape and pillage the planet, bro.
Now, can I read this quick? Ezekiel 35, verse 11. So therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy. Because that's the truth, man. You really jealous and envious of us, man. Because we are the Lord's chosen.
They are envious of our people, man, because the thing is, you can put the people down, right, as much as you can, but you can't deny, because you see our people, man. Sometimes, like, Jake will be in a worse situation, and you see glimpse of brilliance, and you can't deny it. Oh shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, how is he being able, you know?
And we've done this all having low IQ and
Yeah,
low
Jake is
this and
brilliant.
that, being impoverished, you know what I mean? Very poor nutrition, all of this. We're still able to do things
Bro.
that you know couldn't even dream of doing.
Certain things you can't buy, man. There's certain things that are innate here to your spirit.
Bro, some of you know it's can't use a fucking calculator, man. And you got Jake out there doing mental maths like it's a joke. You know what I mean?
Some people, like, your intelligence level, right? You can learn, but some people are geniuses innately, and even if they didn't learn, they'll do something genius because of just the blessing the Lord has put on them. It's like sports. That's why in the sports now, most people don't enjoy sports because they've made sports robotic. Whereas sports is about athleticism. Whereas the essence of most sports is deeper than athleticism. It's about that unique quality that person possesses that goes beyond his ability to run or jump.
Genetics.
Like, that's why man love Ronaldinho. It wasn't because he was the greatest athlete. It's with the magic, man. It's the mind. But then when he does it, you're like, how did you think of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you even do that? That's what real talent is. Real talent is when a guy does something just raw.
It's like,
You're raw.
it's like when man for the first volley. He's like, how did you do it on the half volley and all this time?
Yeah.
How did you do that? Why do you think of that? Because
It's that raw,
smart. It's smart.
and Jake possesses that. Jake, a lot of Jake are just talented, and it will shine through.
And
even if you hold them down, it's still there. You can see it. Like, he could. How did he like? And Esau knows that.
But this is why all your sports were dead until Jake got up in there. It's like, you know, spicing it up.
And then who's killed it?
Esau
killed it by roboticizing it and trying to make it all mathematics and statisticians.
He wants control. He wants control.
Yeah,
He wants
and he
control.
made it all messed up. When really, a lot of things go back to innate talent. The word talent goes back to weight. Right? Weight, like, is your value. Because talent can have talent of gold. Jake naturally has talent in many things, like music. And you could give someone music lessons on how to sing, but that don't make him R. Kelly. Do you know what I'm saying? That don't make there's something that has to be a little, what they call it, je ne sais quoi. There's an extra little bit that makes someone special. It's a spirit.
I got a quick one.
You might sound like cats dying. You know
That man will come up with that hook. It's like, oh shit, how did man come up with that?
But Jake have your hairs standing up on your.
But now Esau got hold of everything. It's like, oh, copy. So something that works, just copy that. Oh, that was good. So copy that sound and we'll sell it. And that's why the music industry has become just people recycling.
Say with the movie industry,
because it's not led by actual people that are talented that want to just be free to express themselves. And that's across the board. In movies, it's the same thing. Instead of giving people the opportunity to just write a movie, and if it fails, it fails, and if it does well, it does well. It's like, well, no, we could just make Fast and Furious 20 because people already know Fast and Furious, and they might turn up just for the name. That's Edomite. That's the Edomite way of thinking. Whereas a real talented Jay could be like, let's make something new, fresh, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. Comedy, we can't tell the same joke over and over. You gotta come up with a new one that's different. And man's like, oh. So Esau knows that we got that special ability, man, and he's envious of that because we're the princes of the Lord.
This is Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art holy people unto the Lord thy power. Though the Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all out on the face of the earth.
The Lord chose us, and we are a special people. As low as we are, and yes, like wicked as hell, Jake be wicked and doing madness. In and amongst all of that, even to this day, you will see
Jesus is a messenger, it's not son of God. Jesus is a prophet.
Okay,
nah, he's the son of God, bro.
No, son.
He's the son of God.
Adam would be son as well.
No. Adam was also the son of God. 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 No, not you. You're not. Not you. Not you. You're not a son of God. It's peak. Man, I have to defend it. I was gonna let it go, but I can't have man.
He just talking with his diabetes. We're gonna lose the
He gonna get it. He gonna get it. Like when the hammer comes down. Yeah, but Jake,
diabetes might take him out first.
Hey, Jake has produced from being in harsh conditions. Jake has done some of the greatest things, and Edomites, with all the help in the world, can't copy that. You got Edomites. You can get an Edomite and give him all the best training and do all the things. If you ain't got that innate quality, man, sometimes it just ain't enough, man. It's Jordan.
Real talk. Jackson, all these characters electrifying.
You know how many Edomites spend bare money to make their child something like great, and it just ain't gonna work because at the end of the day, if it's not in you, it ain't in you. It has to be in you. And Jake has it in him,
and it shows you, man, because obviously these big, players or whatever, they have children, right? But each individual spirit is different, right? He might have the genetics of his father and all that kind of stuff, but he can't do what his father did. They're not as great as him. It's just like
Hendrix.
No, with the boxer, Chavez.
He's
a boy, really. And everyone knows he's not his father. But it is what it is.
Some things you can't. Some things you can't replicate. Yeah, some things are brilliance is in someone, and you can't necessarily. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, man. That when they tell you could be anything you want to be, it's not true. You could be whatever the Lord put in you. That's right. And whether or not you achieve that potential is up to you. But there's plenty of people that their mother and their father spend thousands of pounds for them to learn the violin, and they'll don't get it twisted. They'll learn the violin, but they won't be that. It won't be the same. But then you'll have another you didn't get the same training, and man jump on the violin.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
And that's the thing. He like that's one of the reasons he likes to keep the last bits of strongholds, if you will, that he has, like to himself. So like classical music, like when Sheku played at the royal wedding, right? Jay, he wasn't happy with that, man, because that wasn't the image that they want Jake to be portrayed as out in the world. Right, him and his sister be, what you call it?
Man, I'm in love with his sister.
Yeah, both. If you open up Jake to everything, inevitably,
we're
going to see greatness. Well,
there's an example of that Jake from Nigeria that plays a lot of chess.
He
goes into poor ghettos and teach them chess. And then the little poor Jakes in the ghettos are competing with other Edomites that are doing well with chess and beating people.
And that's why they have to they've mentally destroyed Jake. They always try and gatekeep Jake from so many different things. From the very beginning, they didn't want you to do a lot of things.
This is the handicap, right?
Handicap,
Because we
man.
can tap into the upper echelon of abilities, man. Yeah, you might do certain things on a certain level. You can play guitar, you do all these different types of things. Yeah, you can do it. But if you let Jake do it, he can tap into that higher level, man. And that's when you start
And you
getting
got to
embarrassed.
compete. When you got to compete with Jake, it starts
impossible.
getting
It's hard-
difficult,
It's
man.
hard to Jake to compete off a chip.
Yeah.
If you ain't got it like that, you know. What I mean?
And
You
we're
got
not
super
just
Jake.
talking about anything athletic. We're talking
Anything.
about everything. Because we shouldn't. Jake, we've been brought up in a way where we think this is what black people do, and this is what white people do. And you don't realize that there's nothing that we don't do. We're the princes of power. There's no domain that is outside of our reach. There's no instrument. There's no science. Oh no, we shouldn't learn about geography because that's no. Any science there is, Solomon was a master of all. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. That's why you don't. But Jake will look down on another Jake. So why are you doing that for? That's what people do. No, everything is art.
And that came from that statement came from the TV, man. Right? Because Jake outside the West, they don't really move like that.
Programming.
There's so many different genres of music. Why should man be marginalized to only express yourself through hip hop? That's not real. It's not real because really
They even played the harp, man.
there you go. So we
What
could
Jake plays the harp. You don't know what Jake that played the harp.
no, and if you did, they'd be like,
You
niggas
did.
don't do that. Niggas don't do that.
That's
But then
white
people
Yeah,
say,
he was bad on the harp, man.
nah, bro, you open
Carson
up your
Beaver's
mind, and once you understand that Esau's all about keeping us in a box,
Restricted. Yeah.
when really we are everything,
And that's
because
what-
our Father is everything.
And
you know
that
what I'm
is
saying?
oppression.
Yeah, it is.
That's part of the oppression. Can I read this?
You can't be a nerd of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be into, you know what I mean? Otherwise, you're not really black. What? Well, I don't want to be black.
Exactly.
Negative anyway. Always a lie. Can I read this? It's Baruch chapter 3, verse 35. This is our God, Yahweh, and there shall none other be accounted of him in comparison of him. He hath found all the way of knowledge, and have given it unto Jacob his servant.
Right. Where we are superior as a people, we have the talented
Ways.
people in everything. In everything. We have the orators. We got man that's just talented with talking.
You might want to bite
Morgan-
Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Man, I'm like,
Yeah, what was that? Is it
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman?
Morgan Freeman, the
When,
voice.
when man narrates
yeah,
something,
yeah.
you just listen.
Yeah.
We got the talented orators. We got the super intellectual, and we also got the badass warriors. You know what I'm saying? We got the badass warriors. We got everything. We got the singers. We got the rappers. We got the poets. There's a Jake for everything, man.
Yeah.
For real.
There's a Jake for everything.
Mathematics, everything.
For real.
If we would just allow it to just, man, we dominate everything because that's who we are. We're the princes of power.
Sons of God.
We're the sons of God. All knowledge, like even because what Esau tried to hold on to was intellect.
Yeah, that he was.
Because it became too evident that the physicality thing we can't hold on to it. Ever
Jack Johnson
since
mashed up every man.
Jack Dempsey got mashed up here and Jack Johnson, once a black man became the world heavyweight champion, it kind of like, oh, fuck, we shouldn't let that happen. Because now we can't say we're physically superior. So now it's like, they just
Don't worry
brute,
about that.
they just brute monkeys, but intellectually, IQ, we're better. When it's not true. It's not true.
And that's how more easier to control for you. Because you can't really control our physical stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could use it.
But you
It's
can
entertaining.
control our education. You control what we can get access to, what we can't get access to. You can control those things because you're in power. You know, you can't so-called black and thumping you in the face though.
They've made it where Jake don't
You know?
value knowledge. And it's that mentality which is bred through the media and so forth, what's holding Jake back from being more than just an idiot. But it's not because they're inherently dumb. But if you have someone that doesn't value education, then how is it that they're going to learn to bring out, because educare means to bring out what's in you. If you don't know, you could be a rocket scientist. But if you never took an interest in learning about rockets, then how would you know? If you just like, fuck that, man, I ain't doing no fucking rockets, right? Yeah, me, There's plenty of geniuses that just end up nothing. I knew Jakes here that could take a ped apart here. Just take the whole thing apart and put it back together again. And man never went to school for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Them man were just running around robbing.
yeah.
Them man will go around like rob people's heads. Yeah, criminal Jakes. Jakes that got kicked out of school. These are men I know. These men didn't last long. They got excluded from like year 8. Yeah, and you see them man doing all madness. Man will break down a whole ped in front of you and put it back together. That man could be doing Formula 1. If man actually sat there and actually learned mechanics and engineering on and properly,
said there was one Jake used to know, something like that. And like when he'd get a girlfriend from one country, just learn her language. I don't remember. She was like,
Oh yeah, I met a guy. Yeah. I met a guy. Yeah. He was in I used to work with him, Jake. He was man, that dude was intelligent as fuck. Like he was, bro. I'm telling you, they exist. There's lots of Jake that waste their potential as a human being, and a lot of that is because of how we're mentally oppressed to not seek to be any more than just a nigga.
Yeah, bro. I mean that one Jake that we know that always helps brothers out. This dude, his day job is just to work with kids, But outside of work, this guy's a builder. This guy's got a pilot license. Like he just like he does everything. Like anytime I got a problem outside, like brothers need help, whatever, I just call him. And he's got a guy for it. Like this guy fixes cars, but this guy's day job is he works in a school. But if you needed someone with a pilot license, change your car, change your engine swap, so like I asked him, bro, how'd you learn all this? I just taught myself. That's what he says. Casually, I just taught myself. That's Jake.
And this is another thing, man. Because Jake might be talented. Jake might be able to do these things that we're talking about, right? But being in a so-called white dominated world in these different environments, it's hard for Jake to get in.
I was about access.
Yeah. His talent gets wasted.
Exactly. He's a gatekeeper as well.
And he falls into drugs. I was watching that Dave Chappelle skit.
Right.
One of the things like, Timmy had the dream and all this, like, telling about all these things that he was gonna do. And he ended up crack, all this kind of shit. But he had the ability to, but things didn't work out. And then you got little Nas X, who's a fucking reprobate, and everything came true for him. Like he did it. But that's the Dave Chappelle.
And don't be thinking that Esau don't take certain people out, right? If there's a particular Jake,
they got Tesla. They Tesla sabotage, man.
So from Jeremiah 51:19, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is a former of all things, and Israel is the Lord of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Now a lot of people read this, and they think it's saying, that Jacob is a former. It's not. It's the Most High. But then, if your father is a former of all things, man, then that's going to extend onto you. Which is explained. The Most High is the knowledge and Jacob. Right. So once the Most High is the things, he's able to give us knowledge for us to be able to do things. Bless us to be able to do certain things, right?
Yeah, because it says Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And you know what's interesting is the topic we're meaning to go into. Spirit will, push it, don't actually do it. If you look at throughout the scriptures, obviously have the statue of Daniel. But every empire Jacob did, Jacob always around the leadership of an empire.
Daniel, I was about to get that.
Daniel, right? Even when you read them books of like Judith and Tobit, there's always key characters that are mentioned where they was by the king in some way. They was always known for their wisdom. That's Jake's life.
You got Jake next to Trump right now.
Yeah, Jake next to Trump right now.
It was this kingdom where Esau broke us down and stripped us. But through chattel slavery. Chattel slavery stripped us of everything. Stripped us of our knowledge, of our understanding on any level, and made us base. And this took us ages just to get back to this level. Why? Because Esau broke us down. It's him. It wasn't because we were already like that. He made sure. That's why he banned man from reading and all that. And learning to read. Trying to hold man back because he tried to make us just like a base level grunt. When really we're princes.
For real, like if you really look at the scriptures and you read into story, time, Greece, there's so many characters. Mordecai,
Solomon. Like he's the greatest example.
Yeah, he's the greatest example.
Yeah, his wisdom was world famous and world renowned.
Yeah.
But if when you read I'll see if I can find it. The book I had lynching at the hands of white America, whatever you call it. It tells you in there that they used to write stuff like they used to name off like names in history. And he said I would dare anyone to name me the name of one Negro that has accomplished anything of the sort. And half of the names he spoke was us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that they were pushing the ideology that these men ain't never done nothing in history. They're nobodies. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, the prophets? Huh? Like, all the man in the Bible is us. What are you talking about? Devil?
It's like these so-called white people talk about St. George, right? St. George is flowing all this shit, but he's not even
But they put that poison into Jake's mind. You're nothing, you ain't never been nothing. You know, you're nothing and you ain't never been nothing.
But you're a culture board, you still history, you do all that shit, man. You know, put yourself up there, do the iconoclasms, and because you wanna make yourself feel better, man. Yeah. But you weren't doing all that.
Bro, they do the same thing with the natives of America. They never had they did have cities. It's just that the lie is publicized more than the truth. Because now they know, them man had great cities with plumbing and all that, but they don't put that in the schools and make everybody learn that. You know what I'm saying? So everyone just think, that man was just blowing darts. Booga booga. Bunka bunka, you know what I mean? Like, bro, yo, these men had technology. They were moving massive monoliths, and they still don't know how they were doing half of that stuff. Like, these men weren't just unga bungering around the Americas.
You man had advanced mathematics and
they had advanced mathematics, all that stuff. The Mayans,
constellations.
No, but they were just unga bunga.
Ugla booga. And guess what? Even if they were doing that, it's still better than fucking Esau.
The basic Edomites can't even do regular maths, bro.
Edomites are
fucking
just fucking
Ross.
Lee
Judges. No, I'm just taking the mick out of the joke. Anyway, Daniel's 1 and 2.
It's too far.
one year. Daniel's 1 and 2. The Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes. These are the nobles, children in whom was no blemish, and well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science.
Bro, that's all throughout history.
And at such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongues of the Chaldeans, meaning so that we could communicate, so we could start making use of them, just like Daniel.
You know, spiritual as well by that point, because with Daniel and other Israelites and stuff, they'll get a Babylonian name, right? So they get lost in history. Like, there's been times I've actually read certain characters in the scriptures that's actually mentioned in speculation, but under their Hebrew name. But like, if you don't have the direct reference of them in history or the scriptures, but
Zoroastrian, the Persian Empire. I was watching a documentary, and in the documentary it said, and in the Persian culture, truth was the highest virtue. And I'm like, damn, that's in the scriptures. It was the Israelite that taught them that. But you go back into the Esdras when they had the women, the king, and the guy, the last guy said truth, and the king's like, truth, the word for that. And that became the ideology of the kingdom, and that came from an Israelite. You know.
God, now I was just gonna add the guy that just got arrested on to go to the brother's point. The guy that got arrested, they didn't use his own Hebrew name. They used his government name, if you will, right? So in the history books, we wouldn't be like, whatever his Hebrew name, right? Or just use whatever his government name is today.
The fact is that when you come into this truth, right, you start to undo the programming and understand that part of being a prince of the power, right, to be an Israelite means that you are no longer marginalized to what an African American is, or what a Negro is, or what a Spic is, because that's what Esau created, and it's a box that they put around your mind. If you're an Israelite, within the confines of the law, all knowledge can be consumed and understood. You're more than there's a way they could have been much better than they are. I know when we was in school, most of the time we was in school, we were just messing around because our environment was not conducive to learning. And it was mainly Edomites. Yeah, it was messed up. If we went to a private school, we probably would have been like flipping at Harvard or something. But you never know, because you never had the opportunity to see where your potential. Because potential, I'm gonna break it down to you now. The word potent goes back to power, and we're the princes of power. And potential is where you could be versus where you are. So we're the people of the highest potential. We are, because where are we gonna end up? At the top, where we belong. That's our potential. Our ceiling is way, they call it a ceiling, right? Our ceiling is way higher than what Esau would let us believe it.
He knows that. That's why he's scared.
You know?
He's scared. So that's off the chain.
We ain't just no ooga booga people, man. Ooga booga. You know, that's not who we are, man. That's not who we are. We're not no man, and this how these nations try to treat us.
Yeah.
They try to act like that's who we are.
And that's what I'm saying. He's still like Jake may be confused, man. He's not changed. Jeremiah 2, right, 13, right? He's not changed, man. He still looks down at you.
Even in football, they do that. The gatekeeping the coaches, because the coaches are seen as the brains of the operation. So they try to gatekeep black players becoming coaches. You know what I'm saying? They won't, and they won't give them the same not resources, the same grace as they'll give like a Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard was just failing upward. Yeah. But then a black guy, oh yeah, mate, you know, he'll have one job, get fired, and they're like, we're not sure about this guy, he's not good. But Frank Lampard can get fired 5 times.
And then get Chelsea.
Yeah, they didn't want them. They don't, in football, they gatekeep black managers. Now you got my man coming through, Company, and a couple man, but there should have been more man than Company long time ago. Why all these ex-Edomite looking players get to be coaches and fail upwards, but the black ones fail once and then they're gone? And you see the same thing over there in a lot of the American sports. They try to gatekeep certain positions because they're deemed to be positions that require higher intellect, and they don't want it to be known that Jake can do it. They just want Jake to be the muscle behind everything.
When what's this guy, Lewis Hamilton, when it was all of a sudden each time Mercedes he had a problem with his car, always having a problem with his car, but these times had he been winning, right, he would have been, which he's already broken all the records. But then like they liked it when it was Schumacher, that was number one. Right?
Yeah, they tried to gatekeep Formula One, man.
They didn't allow him to get that 8th title. They gave it to Max Verstappen.
They fucked it, man.
You know, on some technicalities, bro. You know what I mean? And he lost it. He basically lost it in the pit or some shit. He lost it, you know, it's mad.
And once again, he will hurt.
And he hasn't run since.
Let me go. This is Matthew 5:13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. And like one of the things that I think of every now and then, you'll be like hearing Eve, for example, Georgia Smith, right? You'll be hearing her singing, or you'll be seeing Jay. It's like we're gonna look back at the heathen, are gonna look back at the kingdom, like, yeah, of course we're the sons of God, because it's so inevident, obvious.
You don't want to accept it now because he's so jealous. He's so jealous as hell. But it's quite evident, man. You're not where we are. Even though we're being oppressed and downtrodden, you can't do what we do, and you don't want us to do what the level you can't do. You don't want us to surpass you. That's always been the issue. It's always been the issue. And so you've been gatekeeping all these things for a long time. And certain things like in the schools you've allowed us to do because it's physical and they go along with your narrative, right? But you know all this other stuff that we're capable of doing, you don't really want us to get out.
Exactly.
You don't want us to fill in your spots. You call it always DEI. You know, that's the only reason why I'm here now. You do these things you put in there to make it seem like, well, Jay just there because he has to be here, kind of thing.
Exactly. And when he's talking about this, he likes to keep pointing that thing that Jake, that speak about Jake's physicality. Like I think of the term, you know, Esau say once you go black, there's no going back. Esau really, when he's saying that, he's just minimizing it to Jake's rod. And it's like, nah, women deal with Jake because of so many different things.
Flavor.
We got flavor. We actually like women.
We're actually charming.
We're actually heterosexual. Unlike him,
we can actually dance.
We can vibe. They genuinely like being around. But he just makes when he sees a so-called white
We're
one
actually
with
funny.
Jay.
Well, and then why can't you be athletic and intellectual?
Yeah.
Esau created this thing here where this box where you're either a nerd or you're a jock. When it's not really true.
That's what you are.
Most Jakes that are intellectual can also be they're very athletic. Because we read it. It said men that are goodly in their body. The nobles of Israel were no pussies. Just some dweebs, but they were, man, with the glasses on. These were raw breads. You know what I'm saying? They could fuck you up, man. You know what I'm saying? But they were also very intellectual and wise. You can have both. I don't know why.
There's a saying, I forget how it phrased, I'll look it up properly, but it'll be like the people that separate their nobility from their warriors end up having. I'll have to look it up.
I know which one you're talking about.
Bro, there used to be nobody were the warriors. They went out to war. The kings went out to war. You know what I mean? They were mighty men.
I was trying to find it. Let me get this thing back up.
David went to war. You know, and you read about the stories like King Arthur and all these legends and that. They went out to war.
And that's what we used to like about Spider-Man, man, because he was a bad man, but he was smart at the same time.
You know what saying, quick? What are you saying? This is Sirach, chapter 26, and verse 5, right? It says, there be three things that my heart feareth, and for the fourth I was so afraid. The slander of a city, right? Esau done nothing but slander us, man. Talk shit about us and had the whole world believing that we're just this
some
low
violent,
level.
We're only just violent beasts, crack whores.
When, and even though there are elements of us that are like that, you know, with the help of Esau, right? We are so much more than what you portray us to be. Right? We're going through it. Right? But Esau doesn't want the world to know what we are. That's why he's taking our identity away from us. Taking our history.
Yeah, that's why he spends billions. That's why he spends billions perpetuating the idea of Jake being degenerates, man. Like we were speaking about a couple of weeks ago. Like, but I remember when the brother broke it down to me about like, what was it, like King Von or one of them Chicago guys. He's got a record deal, but he's got bodies on it. And it's like,
and Edomites are promoting it.
Exactly, big teeth. You know, it's he was given funding to perpetuate that energy throughout his immediate environment, and anyone that listens to it, right? But these are what I remember growing up. We'd always say there are mandem in the hood that could do X, right? Whether it was footballers or like mandem in the little mandem in Chicago that I'm sure would have better bars than him, right? That didn't have that backstory. That was just good lyricists. We've all met a good lyricist that didn't make it, but he didn't want just a good lyricist. He wanted the degenerate so that he could portray that and push that image out into the ether.
Our precept, and Jake attributes that to their manhood. Jake's idea of manhood is basically based on the media, and a lot of times it's toxic. Like Benjamin's idea of manhood is just having as many women as possible, and that's not really what manhood is.
Bare children,
you know what I mean? Like, man, a bit of girl met up, but you man's youths are in destitute, and their whole family structure's fucked because it's all messed up because they're only about the idea of having loads of women like a plantation breeder, but not the idea of building any structure around it. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is what a real man would do to produce functional children. Because what's the point of having bare gal but all your children are fucked? The Bible says I'd rather have no children than have a bag of youths that just messed up.
I requested the AI for some assistance. The saying is from the Greek historian Thucydides. That's a hard one, right? But it says the society that separates its scholars from its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools.
And that's how they. But even if they bring that, most of these gangs are led by people with 5th grade level education and just dumb. That's what I'm saying. It's messed up, man. But like I said, this Esau, it's a mental thing, but it's like a witchcraft thing. But this truth is about edifying us, not. And you get Ephesians 4. What you find is that this truth through Yahweh Shai, not only does it edify you in the base knowledge that you're supposed to have, which is these scriptures, but it leads you to now edify yourself on all the other knowledge. Naturally, you start learning about herbs. If you're going to learn about herbs, you start doing biology and all these different things. You're going to learn about geography. You're going to learn about history. You're going to learn about language. You'll find that, brother, and that's why Vocab Malone, he's a demon. Because when brothers come into this truth, we actually become a better, more well-rounded and learned individual. You don't become more dumbed down. You become more of an intellectual.
Yeah.
You can have conversations with people about things that a normal Negro wouldn't normally know about. Like we're learning about the Assyrian Empire, the Egyptian Empire. Look at the conversations we have here at camp. Every brother's bringing things out that is still built around the foundation of the scriptures, but it's wide because all knowledge is our domain. There's no knowledge that we don't consume and understand, and that makes us higher level beings. But vocab alone, he's like, nah, just be an African American Christian. You know what I mean? Them Christians don't know nothing. They don't even learn history of the Bible. Like, what are we doing here?
Spirit for everything.
Can we get Ephesians 4 chapter? You should start from, yes, from 9. See, this is part of the apostles and elders. They do teach us about a lot of things, and they've caused us to elevate who we are as people.
We're ambassadors for Yahweh Shai, man. When we're out there in the world, there's supposed to be a difference between us and them, right?
Not just brute beast.
Right,
the white man's the devil. I mean, that's not who we are.
And the apostles, man, learning from the apostles has called you to move away from wickedness, for the most part. You might be into some madness, before you come in, you're not part of that no more. There might be some personal thing you dealing with on the issue, but like generally, you're not doing the stuff that a lot of these men are doing.
We're not violent.
You know what I'm saying?
We're not. And we're against
But we're the worst.
Because we're the worst. Yeah.
We turn away from a lot of that stuff Jacob been into.
We're good, upstanding citizens.
It's true. We're the most upstanding. We're the most upstanding citizens that you're gonna get because we carry ourselves with dignity, man. We don't go around and steal. Even at work, if an Edomite leaves his phone in the damn mess room, we give it back to him. I'll hand it in. Yo, my man's left his phone. I'm not gonna steal it because it's the Edomite. You know what I'm saying? So they can't accuse us of nothing because we're peaceful among men and we stick to our principles.
We're not going to stick because we're Israelites.
Because we've got better standards. We've got better standards. He's still the devil.
Yeah, we don't like you.
You reminded me of the account with Joseph and Pharaoh's wife.
Yeah.
Because in the workplace, bro, Becky be doing the most. Yeah. Right, but we ain't gonna play with your wife.
No. We don't do that.
We don't do that.
Why? But there's some man that will say, because the Edomite is okay.
Yeah, which is
that's
wrong.
You know what person
it's not okay.
One of the first guys who showed us the truth when we was younger, like
that's what he said.
Yeah,
it's not okay.
And it was like even back then it was like Joseph in Egypt. Yeah,
we don't condone none. You ain't supposed to, even though Esau's the devil. You don't mean you're justified to go out there and act the ass.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be blameless.
But the scriptures say we don't render evil for evil.
Yep.
We don't do evil just to spite someone that's done evil. No, we still got to uphold ourselves. We got etiquette, man.
Yeah.
We got standards.
Integrity, etiquette.
Yeah.
We're not just some.
We ain't like you guys, man.
Better.
But a Christian will steal your phone.
Well, that's the thing. All these true, man. Yeah, they're all Christians, right?
Well, the prisons are filled.
They want to nick 10 quid out your back pocket, man.
That's what we do, though. The prison ain't filled with Hebrew Israelites. Prisons are filled with Christians.
You need my one way for drop out your pocket.
Read that
take it quick. Right, it's Ephesians.
From 9. From 9.
Ephesians 4 verse 9. So now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai.
So the prophets are out here to edify because we bring that base knowledge, which starts with the scriptures. The history that's in the scriptures, everything that's in the scriptures is a fundamental knowledge, and that causes you now to grow upon that with other knowledge. It's inevitable that it's gonna happen. Like we're saying, you learn into the scriptures now, you start going into history. One guy I was talking to said, "Listen, you can't learn history without learning geography." Yeah. It's just that today we were going into certain things, and now we're going into land. Cows, a man could have kept going for ages, man. You know what I'm saying? One form of knowledge will always lead to another in order to build and compound your understanding. But the point is that your foundation of your knowledge has to always be rooted in the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith in Yahweh Shai and the faith in the Lord. But that it will then spring into almost everything else, and that's why in the kingdom, it's going to be so great because you think when people think about someone that's biblical, they think of someone that wants to hide away from knowledge. That's dumb, man. No. We go.
It's real life.
Yeah.
Like these
outside worlds.
Yeah. Like these characters in like in the scriptures, right? These characters in the Bible, and man, they were real people who lived daily lives. And it's how we always say, man, it's like going to scan the scattering in like in the Gentiles. You need to know one, the narrative of the scriptures in terms of us being scattered, the history of our scattering and our time, especially what happened in that time period of the Greeks.
So because sociology, the way people integrate,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Social system.
Yeah, and like the social conversation that was happening during when Paul was bringing these men into the temple. It was like, yo, this is recent history.
Because it brings up context.
Context,
What's going on.
You know?
Which you Christians severely lack.
Yeah.
You just jump to the so-called New Testament and you just think it started from there.
Yeah.
The actual upper, he always says, like, they be jumping from Malachi.
Yeah.
See how it was like, that's cutting up for several hundred years.
Yeah.
Like,
and guess what? If you type in, even on chat, GPT, give me a breakdown of empires and the prophets and like history, and it will actually follow the timeline. Us in Egypt, and then the 450 period years of us going in and out of slavery, short-term slavery, in that whole book. And then after, when it gets into the empires, you actually see that after the last book of the so-called Old Testament, it ends in Persia, and then
so much happened.
Skip Rome.
Yeah, so much
happened. So happened to happened in Greece, man.
So much happened. You know, a big world shifted, man.
Yeah.
It took a big shift. Big shift, man.
Remember, the statue of Daniel was a prophecy.
Yeah.
So they didn't
it's going to cover those prophecies.
So where's Greece then? What it just because remember, like
skipped over
Persia, Babylon, and that, and Xerxes, all
they wouldn't even want to recognize Rome as the full part. Like,
exactly.
They wouldn't even want to recognize that.
That's why when you look at the way a lot of these Christians leaders break down the scriptures, they like to refer to the term Jew as if the term Jew represented all Israel. So most Christians are ignorant to the fact that you had the Jews of Judea, which really represented like a commonwealth that mainly was only of 3 tribes. But there were other Israelites outside of that. Most Christians don't understand that because of the term, because they don't understand that the Lord didn't make a covenant with the Jews. The Lord made a covenant with Israel, all the tribes. When you go back to the Moses, there were no Jews.
It was Israel.
It was Israel. There was Judah, Benjamin, and we all operated as that, as a nation Israel. It wasn't until the split that you had separately Jews, and then
but even after that, there was still little scattered. You know.
So bro, you have to become knowledgeable, but the knowledge has to be grounded in something. And the problem is people trying to kind of branch out into knowledge without getting the foundation, which is in these scriptures. But once you got the foundation in the scriptures, then all knowledge is opened up to you. You could go into all knowledge, man, and be guided from the Spirit. And that makes you what? A prince. A prince is never an idiot. A prince should never be an idiot. If you can't have a ruler that's an idiot. A ruler is supposed to be learned in all the things of his kingdom, even if it's just to a layman's level. You should, because if you don't even have that, someone's gonna make a fool of you. A king can't afford to be ignorant, because someone's gonna make a fool out of you. If you get a CEO, you don't know generally how all areas of his company operates. Someone's gonna make a fool out of you.
Well, it actually makes sense in these movies. You know, you see like a prince who's being raised up to be king one day. He's got a personal guy who's teaching him all kind of elements of history. You know what I mean?
They'll got something. They make you work down there. Because look, man. Let's say, like for instance, right? You might set a man a task. Yo, we need to do this, that, and the other. Man, come back to you. It's gonna take 2 months. Now, if you don't know shit, You'll be like, oh yeah, that's all right. But if you've been down there, it's like, bro, what are you trying to say if I eat it? I've been down there. I know it's only going to take a week.
That's
Explain to me.
That's the West of the nutshell.
Yeah, because man can take you for a fool if you don't know shit. So a ruler shouldn't really be ignorant. They should have a certain knowledge so that they can hear and say, hold on, man, that don't sound right. Let me go get a, and then you might have to consult, so you know what I mean? Because, but if you're ignorant, man will always take you for a fool.
Even Alexander the Great, he was taught by that sage Aristotle. He actually taught him when he was 13. So by the time he was like a man, he was knowledgeable. He wasn't just playing FIFA, eating some fucking Snickers.
Or just banging women.
Or just banging women.
It's a mandatory thing because you're going to be ruling out the empire. You're going to be ruling out. You have to be knowledgeable of things. You know, you might not be the top dude in the speaking field, but you know about it. You know about things.
Putin was an example when he got interviewed by what's his face, man, speeches, you know, and he was going into the history, the Bolsheviks, Tucker by Tucker, and you know what was
no kind of history on him, man.
But you know what was actually kind of funny was the response. That's like the ramblings, because he was basically going into deep knowledge,
breaking it down,
and then people, because it was just too much, they're not used to rambling.
You know, they're not used to
fools take knowledge.
If you look at the way, if you look at how American politics is operating, it's all done in snippets, and man lie and move on. They're not trying to come to any kind of, they're not trying to educate the audience so that they actually understand a particular crisis. So they could tell you that ISIS is allied with Iran, and you just don't understand that, bro. These are from completely two different parts of Islam that hate each other. But if they were, ISIS and Iran are together, you're like, what's going on? This is foolishness.
Read this.
You almost.
So 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
That's right. So we go into these scriptures. First and foremost is the base foundation of knowledge which you get in the scriptures, and that will cause you to learn language, learn this, learn that, all these different things, and ultimately you're going to become a more intellectual and a more wiser and smarter human being. Period. And that is the path. Everything else has been seeking to take us away from that path of enlightenment and understanding and knowledge. This is the path, beginning with the scriptures, because if you don't have the scriptures, you can't go down that road of enlightenment, man. The road of enlightenment, this is the light. You know what I'm saying? This is the light. Fun Esau, we're a highly intellectual and smart people, man. But we turn ourselves into fools when we turn our back on the Lord. We turn ourselves into fools. Now we're going to turn ourselves into wise men by turning back to the Lord, man, and receiving his wisdom, which begins with Yahweh Shai. That's right. And hell with Esau, man. But we're going to surpass Esau in all things.
Are you back in Ephesians? Are you saying?
Yeah. I think you've got to go.
This is about Proverbs 9 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So it starts with returning to the Lord. Because he show you fear, you believe his word and his judgment.
And respect his word.
That's right.
Because when you start saying, that word ain't the foundation of knowledge, and start establishing yourself, you're going to go wrong. That's when you start making wrong decisions. And Esau is going to be the perfect example of that. You know what I mean? You got the fear of the Lord is at the beginning, because you have to respect that all knowledge is of the Lord, that all judgment comes from the Lord. You have to be humble. And then through humility, that's when everything is opened up to you. That's when you can learn. But Esau's a proud demon, and that's why everything he's learned is going to use to his own destruction.
And it's true, because you go in the classroom, you can't be like, I already know how to do this shit already. You ain't listening. You got to be humble and to be taught, right? And as soon as you submit yourself to the Heavenly Father, you start to learn. Learn how things are really supposed to be, how things really work.
And you start applying on knowledge. You'd be surprised. Like, even these brothers that's into music, I'm not the deepest of it, but some of these brothers start getting into music, man, and they start going deep. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Our forefathers was like that. They understood music on a deeper level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember when King Saul had demons on him? He had to get King David to exercise the demons. It's like they actually knew when he does it, he's gonna cast the demons off.
Hey, some brothers go deeper, but that's the type of people we should be. We should be people that we could go to each other as the experts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta go to Esau. We go to each other as the experts.
Daniel, remember when he exploded the beast? He's made the pitch.
Yeah, man. Pyrotechnics.
And then basically blew it up. He's been
terrorist.
He never said it himself.
Hey, but you know what? Even just like all what we're doing now, what's beautiful is that we're building off of each other, because there'll be stuff that we all kind of know, and then we may be thinking that two things are unrelated, but then when we're speaking, we're like, oh, actually, that knowledge aligns with this one, right? But what does Esau, once again, what does Esau rather have Jake be doing? Sit on a bloody podcast saying that women ain't shit and that men ain't shit. It's like, how does that progress?
Every day, bro.
Every day.
Yeah, there's there's only drama. There's no real nuance. It will just be like the back chat. It will just be pure arguing backward and forward, arguing past each other. But nothing that you can take and actually live with.
Exactly.
There's no wisdom there. There's no balance, man.
Yeah.
And wisdom, a lot of things when you realize when you grow up here, that wisdom, a lot of wisdom is balance. A lot of wisdom doesn't exist in extremes. It exists in the balance between extremes. And you're not going to get that on the podcast because they want conflict and they want drama, man. It's all bullshit, man. You can't raise your family based upon manosphere, and you can't raise your family based upon feminists. You can't raise your family based upon the scriptures, man. And then you're going to have balance and you understand certain things. Because with your children, you can't just be a madman with your children. Oh, you must do what I say. Pop, pop, pop. Bro, the children are gonna break under that pressure. But at the same time, you can't be all super soft. There's a balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's wisdom. There's a time and place to beat your children, but there's a time and place where they just need another form of lesson. There's a time and place to be soft with your children. You can't only be like hardcore like your drill sergeant because they never really feel no love.
And that's the thing about wisdom. Wisdom is it flows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not bridges. Wisdom's not bridges, man. Wisdom can apply at any time.
There'll be certain, you make it one way with a particular woman, but then you make it another woman, and yeah, she may not respond to the same thing, right?
You got
know, you understand. That's why I saw him when he studied everything. He knew about people, how they behave.
Yeah, people are like that. People are like that. It's not everyone like you can apply the same thing and get the same results, man. But that takes wisdom. But you ain't gonna get that with these. You know.
Just on what you said. This is Sirach 4:30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants.
Right. So the frantic part means to seem to be panicked, because then you won't instill confidence if you're just like a guy that's always panicking and worried. And a lion in your house is self-explanatory, man. You're supposed to just come in, hey, woman, what are you doing over there? Like, bro, then keep it real. But that's how they. But the funny thing is, that's how people think that we are. Yeah. Because we might say, yo, woman needs to be in her place. Yeah. That means I walk into my house, my woman's in. Yo, get in the corner. Stern,
sweet music.
Like when we say things, we just say the actual facts, the truth about it.
But even if
the home is different, because we don't live in our kingdom. So certain things don't work the way.
But even if you was in your kingdom, do you really think you're gonna act like an asshole? Like, where's what you're saying? If you read in the scriptures, was all the men just going around like, acting like asshole, choke slamming people and shouting women into stand in that corner, don't move until I tell you to. Like, bro, that's not reality. Yeah. It's not the reality of life. In life, there's gonna be a certain amount of in a man's relationship where you're gonna be like, all right, honey. You're hugging or whatever you're doing. You're not just running around like a robot, just you know what I mean? Just being some super harsh. That's not reality of how people actually interact in real life. But what we are saying is you have certain principles and boundaries that you stand on as a man.
Yeah.
That's the reality. But man's hear what we're saying, go home and start acting like an idiot. It's not gonna work because you're dealing with human beings. They have emotions, but you can't start abusing people. It's just that I'm telling you, it's just like your children. You can't just for everything crush them, because at some point you're not really being their parent at that point.
Oh, you know what? You see this with like Moabite children, where it's like their parents were just like do this, and then you see them. It's like I forget the term, but they become hyper vigilant. So like you be thinking about something else, and then is everything okay? And they'll be constantly doing that because
there's no balance.
There was no balance within
you
their
gotta have balance with
Tiger
things.
Man.
They have to experience certain things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying with you? Like sometimes you just like with your woman, sometimes you're gonna have that time when you're being nice, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
Sometimes you're gonna be
no one
calm.
ain't telling you that you're a pussy if you're nice to your woman. Like this is just dumb. You're gonna be nice, blood. But what I'm not gonna do is start worshiping the idol because you said so. Like we're not having that. Like, and this is the balance of life. You flow with it, but you hold your integrity and your principles.
This is 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, to dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Yeah, you come home and your woman wants to change the curtains. Oh, no, I must choose with whatever, man. I ain't got time with all that, bro. That's your domain.
Exactly.
That's your domain. Like you just do it. You know what I mean? I don't care about all that. It's not something that I delegate certain things, man. You don't have to be all uptight. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, like, no one's like that in real life. But this is what the society done. They try and make everything about the extreme version, so they come at you with the extreme. Like I was having a thing the other day, and the gal, that's why a gal don't like the idea that a man has the power and the control, because they literally think that the man would live like micromanaging every flipping. No one lives like that, man. In real life, do you know if you have a woman that you have to tell every single thing to? Do you know how fucking annoying that is?
Very fucking.
No, but it's true.
Consensus. Yeah, reach a consensus.
Who wants to live where you have to micromanage every single fucking detail
It's very
of what?
tiring.
No, man, it's just a general thing.
Yeah.
And most things you expect her to make the decision herself based upon what she knows you would do, and it's within the boundaries of what's acceptable. That's it.
You know the
Fucking crying. No,
Buy me a shirt. Yeah, don't buy a pink shirt with glitter on it. You know what I mean? It's cool, like, come on, man.
But he said it's there.
but I'm still the one that's in control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like, oh, yeah,
yeah, go on, man. People are crazy, man.
Go for second. I mean, the first Ezra 4 and the 29. 29, I missed that. Say what? Yet did I? 28. And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all region fear to touch him? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the
lower level woman, right?
Yeah, bro.
It's concubine, right? Yeah.
the daughter of the admirable Vatakas, sitting at the right hand of the king and taking the crown from the king's head and setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand. And yet, for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her.
I just want to say I love you.
Yeah, but this is a king now. How much more? Come on, man.
Sometimes you just be chilling, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I ain't
Like,
gonna think it ain't that deep,
you're falling over each other or whatever. You know what I mean?
Bro,
Hey,
it
you have
happens,
your
man.
your man and wife time, innit?
But there's a line. There ultimately is a line of respect that has to exist, and there's always gonna be lines that you have to keep, and that's what, like, where I'm from, man don't carry woman's bag. I remember a certain time where I can't be walking and carrying my woman's purse. My grandmother will be like, "What the fuck you doing? Like, what you doing? Let's carry some woman's purse."
But
You know what I'm saying?
But there's some cultures where that's not an expectation, but that's like that's what the women have grown up with. It's like I've seen my exactly, but we don't do that. Shit.
We don't do that over
We
here.
don't do that.
But like I said, wisdom comes with usually it's a balance of how you operate, and a lot of people think in extremes. And when you think of an extreme, you're not really thinking in the reality of world. Like if you went to ancient Israel, like there was a dynamic that would be happening. Like mans weren't just there like this super stoic thing where you just like it's just too rigid. No one can live like that. You have times and moments of levity that exist. There's a time and a place for all things, innit? You let things
There was
flow.
all the time you smile.
But
Laugh,
you got to be a man. That means you have to be the one that is the leader that makes the decisions. But that doesn't mean you're not going to take into context someone else's opinion. Like it happened when I'll give you an example. The man and the mother and the father would have the final say on who the daughter married, but that doesn't mean she never had a choice. But it's you that has to be the one to allow her that choice, and that's the point.
Yeah.
You could say to your daughter, look, man, you want to marry this guy. Okay, you don't? All right, fuck it, we'll find the next one. That's up to you. Or you have the power to say, no, you are marrying him.
This is for the benefit of the house.
It depends. It depends on the. But the point is, you do have that power. But
whether you exercise it or not.
Whether you exercise it or not, it's up to you, innit?
But
You know what I'm saying? And then that's where the wisdom and the balance comes in.
Even I'm sure like there's a law and like a lady doing a vow, innit?
Yeah, and you could disannul the
where you can be like, bitch,
she's fucking out of touch.
Oh, but if you agree, you can let it happen.
You can let it happen, man.
You know?
So it's just like people, they try and demonize what we're saying because they come up with mad extremes. Like if we say, like it's the same thing where if you say to someone, you can beat your child, now they come to the abusive extreme of someone
boxing gloves,
breaking ribs. You realize that? No, man, like that's not what we're talking about. Like that's ridiculous. Like as a father, if you think that that's what you're meant to be doing, there's something wrong with your brain. But when you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the word like economy comes from like house man, right? But when you look at how a company is structured, it's pretty much the same as a house. It's the husband is the CEO. Right, he's the one who ultimately has the final say on the business. The wife is the COO, the chief operating officer. That's the day-to-day operations, right? But the CEO sets, all right, this year we want to expand into America. Do your thing, and the COO's job to ensure that happens. Now you're saying certain times someone needs to get a beat. That's that warning. It's like, bro. Like, hey, we say we wanted to do this, right? All right, here's your formal warning.
Yeah,
right?
life is a thing where everyone's an asset, and you have to think about things, man. Like women used to. This idea that women didn't work. Women worked.
Yeah.
Women were industrious. If you had a woman that could make clothes and she made them good, make that money. The Ghanaians are like that. I've met so many Ghanaian women that were hustlers for their family. I'm like, damn, she's making all kind of money for the family, man, because they grow up like that. Like they're not just dumbed down and useless. But the idea is that women are only useless now. That's the main. No, that's not true. Because my grandmother wasn't useless. She could do everything. Sew clothes, cook, like everything a family needs.
Now women don't want to do nothing.
Now they don't want to do nothing. But you're supposed to be useful. You're supposed to be useful, man. So you train up your daughters to be useful. But if you tell them they're useless, then what are they gonna do? Like, so there's a nuance to everything, man.
And then the women don't like the idea of serving, right? But the truth is, we're all servants to some degree. Because women are servants and are served. Right? It always happens this way because we all benefit one another.
Yeah, but like I said, when you live in the world of only extremes, this is what happens. There's no understanding or wisdom being applied to anything. So it just becomes crazy to these people. But we're not crazy. This is you're crazy. Your world is mad.
It's Ephesians 5 verse 25. His husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Yes, right. There's nothing wrong with loving your wife. But again, this is the balance of it, though. Loving your wife don't mean that don't mean like now you sell out your principles and sell out the Lord for the scripture says no, you ain't supposed to love wife nor nothing more than him. So then there's a balance to that, right? Love is the keeping of the commandments.
And that's why there's only certain conditions you can divorce your wife. That's it. Because you stuck with it pretty much. You got to love her, bro. You know what I mean? Over accordingly, man.
And she gotta love you and fear you. The scripture says that the wife is supposed to fear the husband, and the man don't want to deal with that either. But that is wisdom. A woman is supposed to fear retribution from her husband because he's an authority. When you don't fear retribution from authority, eventually you're gonna take the piss.
But this.
So the woman is just like your kids are supposed to love you, but they're also supposed to fear you, and it's a balance.
Because you do know, that they had the ability to do the chastisement thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it is within our power to do that, according to the law.
Esau's cut this world, man. Because I told you a story. Yes, I was at work thing Monday and Tuesday, man. I was hearing the way some of these men were talking. They was just there like, the wife doesn't lie that I'm staying in London. She's just at home with her kids. And I'm just like, bro, you're working, mama. I'm like, bro, you're working. It's not like you're out with the boys. Like you're actually working. And they were talking
as if,
they were talking like they were in fear of their woman. I was like, It's just what's going on in this world, bro.
But again, this world is living in a way that is not natural.
Yeah.
Because why are you having to be in fucking London like this?
Yeah.
In a real world, you wouldn't be like that, because that's just causing a lack of connection. It does. When you're apart for too long, what creeps in is insecurity and a lack of connection. You wouldn't have that in a village back in the day.
Yeah.
You'd be around your peoples. So it's just like, it's a mad world. But our world is going to be the law, the righteousness, and wisdom, and all the nuances in between being applied. And a lot of guys, even when they come into this truth, they don't know how to apply those nuances, yeah? And that's what really fucks them up a lot of time, because they don't understand that just because we, like, remember that guy said, oh, the elders didn't want me to spend no time, told me that I can't be with my wife and my kids. Like, no one ain't said that, bro.
Who's gonna really say?
But he heard man say, yeah, fuck them kids, yeah. But it's like, bro, like
from a practical standpoint, that does not make no sense.
But this is what happens when you live in a world, when you live in a world of extremes. This is what happens. It's like, no, the whole point what man are trying to say is, yeah, you need to do the work, innit? You can't let the kids and the wife take over all your time. What it didn't mean was to, like, just cut them off, like,
fuck you, kid.
Like, bro, man, we take our kids to the park, bro.
I've got
you know what I'm saying? These guys, you know, don't live in a world of extremes. Live in a world of the principles and wisdom, integrity, man. Guided with, you know.
Like Job, I mean, when he was, the body condition, his woman said, "Oh, was saying that," but Job was
kept integrity, man. Listen, man, if you got a woman, and sometimes I give brothers advice after it, yeah. You have to realize it's a human being, just like you are. So sometimes you need a release. And men can take, one thing they studied and showed is that men can take monotony and suffering better than women can. It's just a fact. Like, a guy can literally do the same thing every day, and man will be like, this is bullshit, but just keep doing it. Whereas a woman, after a while, is like, I need to escape. So if a smart man who understands that will be like, you know what, it's been 2 weeks, we're gonna go out.
Yeah. I had to do that the other day.
You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna go out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go watch a film, and then that's it. Because I know that I need to water this garden right here. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta lay the pipe down. You know what I mean? I ain't talking about metal pipe either. but that's just wisdom and understanding things. Even understanding hormonal cycles helps you in life.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's real certain times. It was same work, and this chick, she was just crying.
Yeah,
because like there was no, like, what should I get? She couldn't find a dog sitter in it. She was just crying. In my mind, I'm just there like,
oh, it's a real thing.
But then it's like, well, I was like, oh shit, I remember, because I actually remember that. She's probably just on her.
Yeah,
and the hormones are all over
and
the place.
It's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. If you, any man that's got daughters, and if you don't understand that, you'll bug out. You say, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then, but I have to remember, she's probably in that side of her hormone, but she's just in the mood. Just leave her. Then I'll just go into a room and be a hermit. Yeah. And if I help, you know what I mean? Like, but then when she comes out of it, she's fine. But if you don't know that, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You being rude, you don't want to spend no time alone in the house. It's like, no, like, she literally feels bad. Yeah. Just let her be there. She's messed up right now. Just let it be. You know what I mean? But that's wisdom, you know, and that's what comes with knowledge. But anyway, we got to close up. Yeah. This is having that little discussion there.
I believe, This is Matthew 10:37, just on what we were saying. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy.
And that's the proper understanding. So does that mean when your granny needs you to cut the grass, you're like, fuck you, granny.
Fuck that.
You know what I mean? Fuck that. You ain't in the truth. You know what I mean? No, go cut
your own grass,
bro. You know what I mean? If you got the time and all that, go do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What
it's talking about is the priority is the ministry, innit?
Yeah.
So, like, make the ministry be the priority. But again, it's not an extreme. You know what I mean? Like, just fuck everything else. Like, you know what I mean?
Because you gotta remember, when we read the scriptures, right, you are taking snapshots of moments in time when they would do it. You don't cover their day-to-day stuff. What they were doing on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes they drank. You know what I mean? They chill.
Hey, man's watch us, right, and think we're just insane people. Like, man don't go to the cinema. So. Man don't listen to me. You don't listen to music. Man don't do nothing. Man just go home and sit in a lotus position and quote scriptures. Nah, like, bro, this is real life. You know what I mean?
Man, watch how our football teams play. Battle each other.
But then man don't bug out. You know what I mean? Man just man understand things. You know.
That's it.
So Keep it real. That's the real definition of keeping it real. Don't be these, and we've seen that them guys that come into the truth, and they ain't ever bugged out, man. Super extreme. It's like, bro, what's wrong with this guy?
Trying to be super.
I mean, not even to bring it up to be, but that's why you have Joy Morgan, man. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Man, bugging
But they're the
out.
ones that end up bugging
yeah,
out.
bugged out,
But they're trying to do too much.
too much.
No balance. No wisdom.
What was it? What you call it? It's like it was one of the I always forget the elder's name, but the one that's been doing the like reviews, not reviews, but responses to the TikTok vids.
That's up.
And then
LD, I'm just bad with names. So
Yeah.
my memory is terrible. But it was like one of the Eves that he was covering. It was like her husband didn't let her like buy socks or some shit.
Yeah, man. Like, there's only certain type of socks you can wear.
Yeah, man.
That was horrendous.
That was horrendous. Jake go extremes,
That was
man. No
horrendous,
wisdom, no understanding, and then they get themselves in. I wonder why things happen.
That bug out we saw, you know, the early 8 or something.
Oh yeah. They ended up killing it.
His kids basically
Rye bread. Man was only eating rye bread and shit. Man.
Yeah. And his
crazy.
kids are just was.
Anyway,
malnourished.
let's close up, man.
Fine.
Right. So that's Carl. How honestly, it was a great millstone.